Good morning, I'm Ryan Baker. The Ohio State men's basketball team braved the elements and got a much-needed 84-78 win over Penn State at the Shot last night. John Mobley Jr. led the way again with 25 points. Tayson Chapman scored a career-high 11 off the bench. The Buckeyes were shorthanded playing without Christoph Tilley and Gabe Cupps. OSU travels to Wisconsin to face the Badgers at 2 Saturday. The Columbus Blue Jackets game with the Los Angeles Kings last night was postponed due to the weather. The game will be made up on March 9th. No start time has been announced, though. The Jackets at home tomorrow night against the Philadelphia Flyers at 7 right here on The Fan. Donovan Mitchell scored 45 to lead the Cleveland Cavaliers to a 114-98 win over the Orlando Magic. This one's sponsored by Uber Eats. Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at El Vaquero. From now until March 31st, buy one quesadilla, get one free on the app. Terms apply.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery is joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo, the boys with you for the next 3. The great Joshua Perry in again today. Bake here as well. Get you the real truth coming up at 10 o'clock. Some interesting details coming out of the Rutgers Athletic Department we'll have a little fun with. 10:30, Uncle Dom will drop by. 11 o'clock, we will blitz the NFL. This is day 2 of today is a cold out. So the kids are out of school today because it's cold, which I get. You got kids at bus stops. I certainly understand it. So this is now day 2. I want to say this is like 3 out of the last 4 school days. They went Friday. They were off Thursday. My wife loves my children, but there is a moment that is happening about every 20 minutes around here where I think as much as she loves them, she could almost also throw them directly through windows. That's kind of where we're at right now, JP. It's not DEFCON 1 at the house. It's not DEFCON 1, but it's probably we're at DEFCON 3, I think. I think it's getting there. Like if they don't go, I can't imagine a scenario where they don't go tomorrow. So, but if they don't, because remember, you're snowed in Sunday too. So this is like 72 hours.
Yes.
With like your immediate family. And boy, it's taken a toll, my friend.
The butt after my wife loves the kids is one of the most relatable things in the world. And
it's a big butt.
You know, we've got 2 little ones, so it's not like we send them off anywhere. My wife is at home with them. So, you know, we feel the chaos and it mounts, right? Like this isn't something, sometimes it just hits you like a tornado. A lot of times you can feel it bubbling up, and that's where the anxiety starts to set in. To the point about the kids not being able to stand at the bus stop, I get that's a reality for a lot of people. One of the craziest things that I've witnessed as I've gotten older is the folks who drive their kids 3 doors down the street and sit in the car until the bus gets there. What are we doing with the young people of America?
Well, you know, and that what you just described happens when it's not negative wind chill.
Yes.
I mean, that's a regular,
just a thing. It's a thing they do.
The 3 blocks.
Yeah,
getting soft, buddy.
Listen, I live in a subdivision, right? Like it's not like you have to walk all that far. It's like, you know, 3 or 4 homes down to get to the corner. And I see the same person. They got their car right there every day. And this is morning and afternoon. Yeah. And I'm curious what's going on here.
Well, you can't have little Timmy walk. Little Timmy can't walk. It's too far. He's got little legs. How can he go that far?
So I'm on the side of you guys. Like, we are so soft in this world today. And listen, I get being safe. Sure. I understand that.
This is dangerous.
I would want to be safe. The only thing I would say about that, which I still don't understand it because you could sit at your window and watch, is I don't know if you can ever be too careful with your kids and creepy people.
Walk your kid to the bus stop.
Absolutely.
If you can sit in the car with them, you can walk them to the bus stop.
I guess you can sit on your porch and watch.
There's nothing wrong with walking your kid down there if you feel like you want to be a safe parent. I'm totally on board with that, but the sitting in the climate-controlled car until the bus gets there is insane work to me.
You know what I'm curious about as we're discussing this? What do they do in Edmonton?
They get a nice coat. They get some boots.
They outfitting everybody with Canada Goose. Like,
yes.
How is everybody, like, you're not missing school? I can't imagine you're missing school because of cold in the Great White North. I mean, so for me, growing up where I did, there was no such thing as a cold day. Like, we would go to school at 30 below zero air temp. So that could be 40, 50 if there's wind. The only time we would ever have snow days is a true whiteout blizzard. Mm-hmm. That was it. Now, it's rural. It's, but there were still buses that ran, and they were out in the country 40 miles in various directions. Yes, 40 sometimes to pick up kids from school. But I don't recall. I was talking to my brother about this. I'm like, do you remember getting a cold day? And again, rural, less kids. I get it. It's different. Apples and oranges, certainly. But the kids in like Canada, like, there's no way they're calling off every time it's cold. They can't. Alaska?
No.
You go to Anchorage High, or you're not skipping school. You're not having cold days.
Oh, man. Have you seen in Scandinavia, they put the babies in the stroller outside in the cold to take naps? Like, they park them outside the door, and they just leave them there. And they make sure that they're all bundled up. But, it's this, and again, like, different world and different things that probably happen in society. But, like, there's no fear about leaving the kid outside and it's cold because you know how to bundle a kid up, and nobody's worried about somebody, like, snatching their kid off the porch. And I tend to feel like there's just a different way to do things, and we choose not to do them.
I think you're probably right on that.
I'm pretty sure in Edmonton they would have played hockey last night, Bo.
Well, no doubt about you and I were talking that on air, off air, about the Jackets game last night getting canceled. Like, and maybe it's just workers can't get. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure that's what it was. But, like, yeah, I mean, it's routinely that cold in those climates in Calgary and Edmonton, especially Winnipeg is. That's brutal there. That's a windswept plain. So I was looking around at the family last night. We were watching the Buckeye basketball game, and they were, like, scrolling and all these things. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I was thinking about what we were talking about yesterday. Like, what did you do on snow days? It's like, read a book, watch a movie. And we would have family movie night. So my mom would go to the VHS store in Conrad, and she would.
What is that?
So it was called Winkler's Video, and that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Let's just say there were two barn doors that led to the adult section. And I'm not making this up. This is 100%.
I thought it was a curtain.
Yeah.
No. Barn doors. You could see over it as a kid. He was also a welder. So he had a video store and he was a welder.
Okay.
Like, both.
Tracks.
Okay. So, yeah, that's how that worked. I explained all that to him. That was an eye-opener for there. Needless to say, they're growing up slightly different than me. And so my mom would bring home a movie. And so I'm like, we're going to watch a movie. And I was trying to think of something that nobody had seen and one that I remembered fondly as a youth. So I don't know how it popped into my head. And I'm guessing, JP, you've never even, I would imagine you haven't heard of this movie. This is a movie from the mid-'80s. Bake is a 42% chance you've heard of it. You definitely know the people in it. The movie's Romancing the Stone. So have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Okay, so it's Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner. It's just an adventure movie, kind of, with a little bit of romance to it, but it's mostly an adventure movie. So I remember vividly watching it as a kid. It's about a novelist who has to save her sister who's she's been taken hostage over a diamond and a map, and it's just kind of like an Indiana Jones type thing to it. There was a sequel to it that came as well. There's some really funny parts and some good adventure, but it starts with a very romantic scene. And so I'm like, guys, we're watching a movie. I remember this as a kid. I remember it being good, so we started watching it. Immediately, they start mocking it. Dad, what are you doing? This sucks. This is terrible. It's terrible. So I'm like, just shut up. And my wife's like, don't tell your children. I'm like, well, he's 14. Like, he's a punk now. I'm going to tell him to shut up. So I get him to calm down. So he's trying to get on. So I take all electronics. Electronics are gone from everybody. They're just gone. And I forgot, like, the movie starts a little slow, like probably about 10 minutes to finally get going. And then it really amps up. Bake, you're familiar with it, right?
Gosh, it's been so long. I was a kid.
Sure.
When I would have been watching it with my parents, so I don't really remember it that much.
So from the time you get to Columbia, it's about an hour and 10 minute sprint of just action, just one thing after another. Some funny parts and stuff. So I look over about 45 minutes into it, and they were just all completely locked in, like locked in. And it restored a little bit of my faith in humanity. You know, like we can still do these things.
Yeah.
We can. Now, it's hard to find something because what they want to do is just watch the same stuff over and over again.
Sure.
So, like, when you try to sell them something that they've never heard of, it's a brutal sell. But I did, and by pure force of nature and calling my kids names I probably shouldn't, they sat there and watched it. But they loved it. And at the end of it, I'm like, wasn't that great? And they're like, yeah, that was a great movie. And Beamsy was excited. Everybody loved it. It was a great movie. And it restored some faith in humanity, just a touch of faith in humanity.
I got to say, the part about selling the kids on watching a movie is big, because we do this with my wife's little sisters who are 11 and 9, and we'll try to be like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And as you mentioned, you used to go to the store. We had a Blockbuster right in Lewis Center by the Walmart. And so you went in there and it was an experience. Like you got to look through what was available, and, you know, like something might catch your eye. And of course there were the snacks over there, and you might be able to walk out with the snack as well. And now when you're just scrolling through Prime and you're trying to sell them on what they're seeing on Prime, I don't think the impact is the same. So
You're right.
Good job out of you on actually being able to sell to the kids a movie to watch.
Now, the only reason I could do it is because I still have authority of that. Like, I don't think I sold it. Like, they were ready to bail within 2 minutes. It's just that I still have some control. I basically forced it.
Amazing.
And then they liked it.
That used to be Friday night. Like in Grove City, the Blockbuster Video was right next to the Taco Bell. Go get dinner at Taco Bell, get a movie afterwards, and head home.
It was an experience.
It really was. There was the thrill of, is the movie you want here?
Yes.
Is it in?
God, and it sucked when it wasned.
God.
No, you had to bail.
Or the video game you wanted.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. That happened. Yeah, back in the... God, can you imagine that? We used to rent video games.
Could you
just
imagine?
Download them.
These kids have no idea, man.
You're going to see it with your littles, buddy. The hardest... Well, you know it because you spend a lot of time with Maddie's sisters. But, like, you're going to... The hardest thing, I think, as a parent, and if you're a young parent out there, everything's on demand. So there's no patience.
Yeah.
They can have anything they want whenever they want it in terms of entertainment. So, like, there's no patience to, like, wait anything out. They want immediate returns on everything. And to teach a generation patience is a challenge. It's something you have to be dogged in your commitment to be able to try to get it done. Buckeye basketball, they got that one in. They did not play the hockey game, shorthanded in a big way, but got a win that they needed. It got dicey more than it probably needed to be. We will get into that. Feels like it's going to be a busy day on the NFL coaching hiring side of things, so we'll keep you posted on that as the program runs along as well. We're off and running on a Tuesday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Tri-State Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Tri-State Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations in the area to serve you in Hilliard and Westerville.
Hey, it's Anthony. So I was recently asked how I've been doing in my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. And I paused and I said, you know what? Pretty darn good. Because it reminded me what I was dealing with a couple years ago. My personal journey. I had plantar fasciitis, that horrible heel pain. If I was on my feet for a while, my lower back would be on fire. And now Honestly, none of that. Zero issues with my feet since I started wearing them. I have my Good Feet arch supports in every day. I feel supported. I feel aligned. And now that I feel better, it's made all the difference. I want to work out more. I want to go out more. Just be more active. I'm telling you, over the last couple of years, my health, my energy, my quality of life has all been affected in a really positive way. They've really helped me keep the pain away. The guys ask me all the time, do I really have them in today? Yes, I do, and I'll take my shoes off upon request to show you. Go take the free test walk. The Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway and Stringtown Road in Grove City. Get started at goodfeet.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Common Man and Timmy.
Welcome to broadcasting.
You don't have to do that.
I do have to
say it
do
like
that.
like I've never done this before.
Because it sounded like you had.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
It's easy to think of winter as a time when not much is happening in the landscape or in the pest and disease world. However, there are a couple of services that can help your trees and shrubs during the colder months, like horticultural oil and anti-desiccant applications. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org to learn more and to find an ISA-certified arborist in your area who is trained and has the proper equipment to perform your tree work safely.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It is not warming up today. Highs only in the 20s, but with gusty winds, the feels like will be 5 to 15 below zero, with scattered snow showers, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. For tonight, we will see temperatures yet again. Air temperature below zero, so feels like significantly lower than that. And then as we go into Wednesday, partly sunny, but feels like down to 5 to 15 degrees below zero. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
I can tell. I like Meredith's voice. She's got a nice voice. Even when she's telling you it feels like minus 20. Like she's got nice. It's very calming.
You know why
Sets
that
me
is?
at ease.
You know why that is? She's always so happy and positive. She's like Tyvus. Like, I don't think they can get in a bad mood. I don't think it's possible.
I've seen Tyvus in a bad mood. Let's be clear about that.
Especially when you're not doing your job and the run fits.
Well, now we don't have to get.
Sorry,
back
it was
into
too
that.
easy.
I guess so. I guess so. No, I've seen Tyvus outside of these environments. He's got a little edge to him.
He's got some. Yeah. So, by the way, I think that is a really nice. That's a nice adjustment we've made on how to describe temperature. So we used to say wind chill. We say the wind chill factor is this. Now we say feels like.
The feels like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice adjustment because wind chill, what does that mean? Right? I mean, wind chill was always what we used. And now they go feels like, and I think that's better. That's what. And by the way, isn't that just the temperature?
That's what I've always thought.
Right?
If it feels like this, it is that.
That's what it is. Like,
I mean,
whatever the feels like, that's the temp.
This is where we're getting into like science and what it actually
Right.
is versus how we perceive things. Like just I'm here for the feels like. Just tell me what I need to wear. I just want
That's
to be
right.
bundled up properly.
Bundle up properly. So we had a Buckeye basketball. We did not have a hockey game last night. We had a Buckeye basketball game last night. It was hard to tell. Obviously, a very sparse crowd because of the temperature, and the Buckeyes raced out 50-32 at half, and then Penn State really outplayed them by a big way in the second half. Buckeyes down several key players. Of course, Tilly and Cups are among the top 6 that play all the time. The one thing that that has been a very welcome trend here the last couple of weeks is John Mobley Jr. And the idea that he's getting 25 a game. He got another 26 last night. His shooting percentage now of 3 at 46.5 the last 4 games. That is minimum. This is, you say, well, he's playing out above his skis or whatever. No. This is what is required. With this roster, this is what is required for him. He's got to get 25, especially as Bruce has dipped a little bit.
Yep.
He's got to get you 25.
No doubt. And again, this is a team where you feel like you're not getting a lot of production from the bench on a game in, game out basis. Although, Chatham had 11 points, which was a big deal for Ohio State. The idea that your top guys have to go out there and they have to have elite production. So I'm totally there with you. I also think the idea of the second half going the way that it went is part of this, how much do you get out of your bench, but you're also down a few players. So you're just, you're going to run out of gas at some point. It's a theme that we've seen with this team as well, where they kind of operate in spurts, and the good spurts are pretty good. And then, when they're down a little bit, like it can get a little bit ugly for that team. So I'm totally there with you. Like the top guys for this team have to go out there on a game in, game out basis and give you great production.
Bo, we talked about this last week, and I said I think one of the most disappointing things for this Buckeye basketball team was the inconsistencies of John Mobley this year. You had a few games where you saw it, but for the most part, he had kind of been non-existent. And after the glimpses you saw of him last year as a freshman, you expected him to take that jump in his sophomore year. But as we've talked about with the Blue Jackets so many times, progression for these guys isn't linear. Sometimes it's one step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And it sounds like John Mobley has put the work in this season, regardless of how the play was, to be better. And boy, are you seeing the fruits of that here the past 4 games. This Ohio State basketball team has a backcourt that is good enough for March. Now, the rest of the team, I don't know, but this backcourt sure as hell is.
Yeah, and you mentioned that work ethic with Junie. Here, Jake talked about it last night in terms of the work that he's put in. Here's Jake Diebler.
I think one of the things we do in this program is we're honest. We hold guys accountable, and he's been held accountable and he's been pushed, and there's been conversations. And the one thing that you got to understand about John Mobley, and I think this is true really for most all of our guys. He wants to be coached. He wants to be a great player. He loves ball. And he's a worker. When you combine those things, and he's certainly got talent, right? That's where you get consistency. He's got good self-awareness, and like we're at a point now where he's kind of telling me what he did wrong before I can even get to him sometimes. So I think he's just like his maturity as a player, as he's gotten, experience this sophomore season, and it's been really good. But like Devin Royal's another guy. Like he didn't have his best game last game. And he came in and he responded. We talked about things you got to do better, and he went out and did it and responded like good players do. So Amari Bynum, same thing. We have a culture in our program where you work hard, you get coached hard, you get held accountable, but it's from a place of love. We want guys to grow and develop, certainly for their future, but for us to win. And I think John's been a great example. Elite worker, and it's not an accident he's been playing at a high level.
And he's going to have to continue this. This team is now 14-6, 6-4 in the league. If you look on any bracketology, they're basically last 4 in, first 4 out type situation. And so this is where we've been for a while with Buckeye basketball. We've been in this. It's interesting how them and the Blue Jackets kind of mirror each other. The Blue Jackets chase the 8. I mean, I feel like we've been in chase the 8 mode for a decade with the Jackets, and that's kind of where we are with Buckeye basketball. Like, find a way to get into the tournament. And I think for what Jake's trying to do here, if you look at the investment that they have next year into the recruiting, the Thompson kid, 5-star kid from right around here, he plays up in Northeast Ohio at Western Reserve. Like, you paratroop him into a roster that has Devin Royal, that has John Mobley Jr., and next year feels like the year where maybe they could be a team where you say, hey, let's see if we can go get to a Sweet 16. They're not giving up on that now. But when you just look at some of the flaws, you guys mentioned it, the lack of depth and then the lack of size. I mean, when you play a team like Michigan, you just don't have the horses to match up with that type of length. So this is going to be a team that if you shoot it well, can be a tough out if they can get in. But guys, when you look at this schedule that's upcoming, they're going to have to fight like hell in February to keep their head above water. It is absolutely brutal. Here is the slate from here through the end of February: at Wisconsin, at Maryland, then Michigan here, then USC here, then 17th ranked Virginia here, then Wisconsin here, then at Michigan State, at Iowa, and then Purdue. That's the next month. That's brutal.
I think one of the hardest things when you hit a stretch like that, too, is when you have guys that you're still trying to bring along is, you have to feel success, and you got to try to find wins in that scenario so they don't feel discouraged about their own development. So, like, at that point, it's the actual wins that matter. But to a certain point, too, like, you kind of got to, manufacture a moral victory here or there, too, if things aren't going your way. So I'll be curious to see mentality-wise how you stand up in a stretch where things are going to get difficult, but you've also got guys that have to continue to find ways to get better.
And, Bo, that schedule you just mentioned is why Ohio State getting that win over Minnesota was so important, why them getting that win over Penn State last night. There's no margin of error for this Buckeye team with the February that awaits them.
No, they have to beat teams like Penn State and do so without much. It needs to be comfortable. Right. Handle your business. Because they put up that graphic of quality wins last night, and the best win they got is UCLA. Like, that's the one. And
UCLA is the last 4 in, too, right now, according to most, correct?
They're in the same boat you are, according to most. So, yeah, that's the job that's ahead of them. No hockey last night for the Blue Jackets. When's that one made up, Bick?
It's going to be March 9th. They have not given a start time for that game yet, but March 9th is the day. The Jackets head to Tampa the next day to play the Lightning, so it's nice that they get a 3-game stretch here, or 3-day stretch here in between games, but that's going to make that March 9th area a little more treacherous.
So the Kings are at Detroit tonight.
Correct.
So they were here, and then they just flew to Detroit and got up there and got the game done. Some breaking news in the college football side of things. I tell you what, good luck trying to keep anybody out of the portal. That's kind of where we are right now. I'll get you those details in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. One of the great annoyances in life, at least for me, is the check engine light, right? You get in your car, you see the check engine light, and you go, I got to take care of that. I don't know what it is. So you let it sit there forever. It bugs you, and eventually a bigger problem happens. Well, every day in your house, your check engine light might be on, but it's not your engine. It's your windows, because you sit down on your couch, you feel the cold, drafty air coming in through your windows, and you go, I got to do something about these windows. But just like the check engine light, I'm afraid of how much it's going to cost, and I don't know where to go. I can't help you with your check engine light, but I can help you with your windows. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows Free sale is going on now. Stop wasting money by letting the warm air in your house escape through your cold, drafty windows. You're spending more on your heating bills when you don't have to. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows Free sale is the perfect time to address this problem. Plus, 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. That could be yours as well. Schedule an estimate today. WindowNation.com.
Steve here from USA Insulation. Let me ask you a question. Do you know why your thermos keeps your coffee hot? Because it's insulated with foam. So let us do the same thing and insulate your home with our premium foam for only $99 a month, interest-free. The cold weather's here. There's nothing better than sitting in a warm, comfortable home with your loved ones and keeping that cold, drafty air outside. So make the call today, 529-2440, 529-2440, or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Birmingham from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. Have you been following along? I'm down 30 pounds in just 5 weeks thanks to Awaken 180. The results are real, the results are fast, and the process is simple. Find your results at awaken180weightloss.com.
There's no place in hockey where you'll find more passion, more pride, and more boom. Make some memories with the Columbus Dispatch Family Value Pack, presented by ABC6 and Fox 28 at bluejackets.com/family.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday. There will be another quarterback in the portal. I don't think this is much of a surprise to anybody, but a release today saying that Darian Mensah and Duke University have reached a fair resolution. And Mensah's attorney, Darren Heitner, says, I commend all parties for professionalism throughout. Then they release a statement talking about what Darian accomplished at Duke. There's a very funny, I saw a very funny tweet from Kevin Clark, who is he's at ESPN now. He used to be at The Ringer, does some NFL stuff. Pretty funny podcast guy. He's a Miami grad, and he tweeted, I hope Miami can reach out now and introduce themselves to the young man. Great to see he's a free agent, and Miami had nothing to do with it.
Oh, man.
Ross Dellinger, Miami was not involved in the settlement. If you're wondering, this resolution was between Mensah's representatives and Duke. Where did he get the money for the settlement then?
It's a great question. I mean, I know where he's going to get it. I'm sure that he didn't have to, the settlement money wasn't due today. Probably due in 90, right? But it's really insane. First off, I'd love to know what the actual settlement ends up looking like, because this is going to be a template for some players moving forward. Mm-hmm. But once again, I don't think this resolution is a solution to the issue. Like the idea that Miami could go out and they could tamper, and Duke tries to enforce whatever they have going on, and they come to a settlement and Mensah can leave. They still need a quarterback. Like, that was their guy. And now they're sitting
Duke?
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heck yeah, they do.
Like, they thought that was their guy. And now he's going to Miami. Like, this is still a problem.
It's a massive problem. And, the other thing that's we ran that bit yesterday of Dabo Sweeney, right, where he had names and he had all of these things. And, he was out there. By the way, Mensah's already 100% crystal ball to Miami, like immediately. I'm on 24/7 right now.
Would you look
at that? This just happened 10 minutes ago, 100% crystal ball Miami. Like, no kidding. Jeez. But Dabo's up there and he's talking about like what Pete Golding did and all of this stuff. And the thing that's pretty amazing about all of it is what came of it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it.
I mean, some good content for us.
No, yeah. And it illustrates, though, that no one is immune to this.
Yeah.
It illustrates that there's no policing of any of it.
Well,
it illuminates that there is no ability. In the old days, this is 20 years ago, when there was some sort of malfeasance, or if there was cheating going on, or if you were breaking the rules, there wasn't an army of Pinkertons then either. But what there was media, traditional media. And traditional media would come into one of these college towns and they would investigate.
Right.
I mean, that's what happened with Tatgate. If you think about the end of Tress, it was the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yes.
Which I don't even think exists anymore. It was the cover of Sports Illustrated that was the final straw. That was the final line of delineation of, we can't keep doing this. And there were months of Wall Street Journal and Washington Post and New York Times and all of these investigations, ESPN, all these investigations. That doesn't even exist anymore. Like, it's basing of all the reporting over the last weekend, it sounds like the Washington Post is going to shutter its sports department. Yeah. So who's investigative journal? Who's investigating any of this? Let alone, because this is the other thing that people miss. The NCAA never had an army of Pinkertons.
No.
The media was the army of Pinkertons, and then the NCAA would get you to talk to them, and then they would hold you accountable. It wasn't until Miami and North Carolina. It was North Carolina basketball and Miami football. This is right around when you were at Ohio State. Yep. You were a player. It was right around that time where they said, and then Kansas really trumped it, where they said, I don't think we are going to talk to you.
They said, screw you. We don't
They're the first ones to do
it. Yeah. I mean, I think the thing
they had no subpoena power.
No. And people failed to realize that, like, the NCAA was just basically depending on people just talking to them. And a lot of the coaching contracts had it in there that if you're under investigation, you have to talk to the NCAA. And then people got wise to that, and they were like, well, why would we do that? Like, why would we put it in your contract that if they're looking at you, we're going to actually force you to do that? You're not turning over your cell phone. You don't give them your laptop. And when you go into that meeting, they ask you a question, and you say, oh, yeah, we had 12 inches of snow the other day. You don't answer the question, right? And it's like, the idea that they could never actually enforce anything and they were dependent on people just complying out of good nature, like that's when the whole thing fell apart.
The crazy thing is they were always just reporting to themselves because, as we've talked about, the NCAA is just the universities.
That's it.
It's just the universities. So you need someone, as much as he drives people nuts, like a Dabo, who may actually be doing things on the up and up to take care of this, but none of them are on the up and up anymore.
Well, the other question I have is, like, where the hell is the College Sports Commission? Like, we've been hearing about the CSC, like, oh, they've created this independent investigation arm, and NIL deals are going to have to run through it, and they're going to do enforcement, and they're going to be in charge of compliance. Who the hell is working there, and where are they? I've not heard a lick from anybody over there.
Well, they're nothing because they are in the same spot that the NCAA's in. You know, we were the last ones to do it. We were the last ones who said, "Yes, sir, may I have another?"
It cost us a title in 2012.
It sure did. And Gene, I mean, I love Gene, but he messed that up.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did. That was one of those ones where it was the last of those you got to self-report. We got to self-report because then they'll go easier on us. And then everybody said, well, why? Why don't you prove it? Think about it. The NCAA governing body, as Bake illustrated, and we've talked about a bunch, they are the university presidents. That's who they represent. That's who the NCAA represents, is the universities. So they never had an investigative arm. That was always old traditional media, which kind of sort of doesn't exist anymore. Then beyond that, there was no enforcement arm because they never had subpoena power.
No.
And once people started figuring that out, it was like, yeah, no, we're good. And then the house of cards started to crumble. And then the NCAA, and when I say NCAA, I'm talking university presidents, athletic directors, conference commissioners, they got to a point where they just said, all right, fine. You want NIL? Go. You want free transfer? We can't enforce it? Fine. We're sick of being in court? Go. And then they just took all the restrictor plates off. And they just let it go. And that's where you are now, where you have kids signing contracts that are unenforceable. Right. I am fascinated. I would love to know, and I don't know who would even be able to tell me, but I would love the real truth on what happened at Washington.
Yeah.
And how they kept that kid there. I would love to know the truth of that, because that one out there, it's, again, that goes back to the conversation I was having last week about Seattle. It's a long ways out there. Who's going out there to investigate it? We saw everything that came of it. Washington flexed. He's back at Washington. What did they have that kept him there? That, to me, is the most interesting. This Mensa thing doesn't surprise me at all. Knew this was coming.
They could have had
the Williams thing is interesting to me.
They could have had $2 extra million, like, for all we know, to keep Williams there, right? Like,
I don't know.
I am under the impression that I don't think institutions nor athletes actually want these contracts to be in front of a judge. I am fully convinced, because I don't think they're very enforceable. But if you're an athlete, like, why would you ever risk the opportunity for somebody to say that it is? So I think everybody's just kind of doing these negotiations off to the side. We'll reach a settlement one way or another. If that means we got to come up with more money, if you're willing to stay, we can do that. If we have to negotiate a resolution and you pay us a little bit of a buyout, reduce the amount of money, whatever that case is, we'll let you go. But I'm convinced that nobody actually wants to see these things in court because they're phony. Like, I don't think there's anything to them.
I think what happened in the Damon Williams case is he found out Dante Moore might be coming back to Oregon. And he was like, well, I better reverse course quick and get back.
You could
real
be right.
Fast. We're talking about, like, some of the corruption in some of this. And when you said the name of the lawyer, it reminded me of this tweet. So Darren Heitner, who's representing Darian Mensah, he's also representing the Alabama basketball player.
Yeah.
In his case, and this was all in the same tweet from Stuart Mandel, not only is the judge in that case of the Alabama basketball player a 6-figure donor to Alabama, but his wife is representing Darius Miles, who played at Alabama in his capital murder case.
Oh, for God's sakes.
This Heitner guy also represented Damon Williams. So
he couldn't get that done.
Well, that's what I feel like there was something else to that situation where
that's what I want to know.
Because he signed the deal and then all of a sudden he wanted to go somewhere else. So I think it was purely money driven. Maybe they got him a little extra money and he stayed at Washington. I'm not exactly sure, but this guy knows where all the bodies are buried. I will say that. So Just try to have them on the show.
Well, they'll talk. All those guys will talk. They can't wait to talk. You want to talk to an agent? I get you an agent in 10 seconds.
It'll cost us, though.
Yeah, of course.
Certainly will. One other thing on the college football side, some shift in the conference championship games for next year. Pete Thamel reporting, and we had this last week. The Big 12 is going to move its window to Friday night, which I think is pretty smart for your mark. I think it's salesman go. He's pretty good at he's not selling a product that is with the others, but he's able to find these little niches, and I think that's pretty smart of them to go to Friday night. So that allows the ACC to go to noon. So the ACC will go at noon, and then the SEC will go at 3:30, and the Big Ten will continue to go in prime time. So that's the way that will all shake out from a television viewing standpoint. You will not have to conflict anymore as they did last year. ACC went head-to-head with Big Ten or SEC last year?
It was Big Ten. They were at night.
They were at night.
Yeah. I think that's part of the ESPN probably made the call to the Big 12 and said, we'll put you in prime time on Friday, and then we'll move the ACC off of where the Big Ten was, because that number was ridiculous for the Big Ten. Nobody's watching the ACC. So
by the year 2027, so in the 2027 season, will we have conference championship games?
No.
So one more year?
It might be. I mean, it feels like they're
going
dying.
away. I mean, we can see it, but like, how long?
Doesn't Fox have a deal in place with the Big Ten through 2028?
Sure.
For that conference championship game. So
that goes to what Petitti's trying to do.
Yeah.
That's why he's going to a 2014 playoff. He's trying to satisfy all the television partners with more inventory. That's why he wants the 24-teamer, is to make all good on all of that, and quite honestly, to find money. Speaking of finding money, NFL coaches are going to be finding a lot of money, and I think today could be a very big day. Get you the very latest on everything happening in the league coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1-2-3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra. Exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Get a complimentary second opinion to see if your portfolio is properly designed to achieve your goals before it's too late. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our Bath Savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items, subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for.
the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. When you're listening to T-Bone and Tyvis, all the F words apply. Football, food, and fun, and fat, and furry. They both have beards. And they dress up like animals and hump things. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Just announced. Get 0% financing for up to 60 months on new 2026 Tucsons. Only at Great Lakes Hyundai, Columbus, or Dublin, or glakeshyundai.com. On SEN, SEL trims with approved credit in
When a company tells you that you need to replace your furnace,
call Eco to fix it instead.
And someday when you really do need a new HVAC system,
we'll give you back all the money you paid us to repair the old one.
Up to $1,500.
Get Eco.
ECO.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and it's your Uncle Bo here. When it comes time to buy a ring, you don't guess, you simply go with the best. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Seller. Whether you're ready to pop the question or walk down the aisle, only one true jeweler for a moment this big. For nearly 80 years, Diamond Seller's been helping guys get it right. Luxury designer collections, expert in-house designers will build a ring that's strong, timeless, and one of a kind. And guy to guy, they make it so simple. No pressure, no confusion, just great advice, the right ring. This is about quality, trust, and getting it done right the first time. Visit Diamond Seller, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, or online anytime at diamondseller.com. Been a customer for nearly 20 years at Diamond Seller. Great folks, Sawmill and Easton on that side of things. I think today's going to be very busy for the NFL. I think it has the potential to be very busy for the NFL. Officially, let's get you updated on what's going on with the Browns up in Cleveland. Seeing a report from Adam Schefter from this morning that the search is down to Jim Schwartz, their current defensive coordinator, Nate Scheelhaase, the pass game coordinator of the LA Rams. They spent most of yesterday in Los Angeles meeting with Scheelhaase. He then towards the end of that meeting, the Buffalo Bills requested to interview him as well. And so reportedly he met with the Bills on Monday night. So you played against him, didn't you?
Yes, I did, actually.
I remember that game in Champaign. Was that 13 or was it 13 you were over there?
13.
12?
What year would it have been?
I remember
I think 13.
It was either 13 or 12. I remember felt like Braxton was running like single wing. Like he just ran it. Like was it him and Carlos Hyde?
Yeah, no, it was definitely 13. And Braxton, I remember he had like that long run right down the middle. It was basically single wing. It was Urban was basically old school football guy. Like it was option offense. But yeah, that was the game.
Okay, so I'm going to pull it up. I remember it was freezing.
Yes.
Really, really cold. All right, so let's see. In Champaign, I was over there twice. I was over there in 11, and then I was 13. You're exactly right. Oh my God, that can't be right.
Yeah, it was a lot of points.
60-35.
Our defense was bad. That was like a historic bad year defensively. In 13, we fell apart at the very end of the year, but we were not good on defense.
So, Bo, you were right. Carlos Hyde, 24 carries, 246 yards, 4 touchdowns in that game. Braxton, 16 carries, 184 and a touchdown.
God. Remember when?
And Braxton also Braxton threw the ball 29 times in the game. He only completed 13, but he had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Guys, I'm telling you, he's one of the best players I've ever seen in my life. Braxton Miller.
Yeah, he was. He was something else. Yeah, I remember that game being brutally cold, and I remember those two guys just running like crazy in that game. So back to Nate Shieldhouse. So the Browns then left Southern California, and it does feel like today could be the day. I mean, they have everything that they need. They're Rooney Rule compliant. They've talked to all the folks that they wanted to. Feels like it's coming down to Schwartz and Shieldhouse, but I do see Schefter now reporting here in the last 2 minutes that the Browns are still considering Todd Monken as offensive or as head coach there as well.
Interesting.
You know, it's interesting to me. Todd was there. I knew him. He was the offensive coordinator that 1 year with Freddie Kitchens. Todd's a brilliant guy. This is just connecting dots.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Schwartz, I wonder if Monken would be the offensive coordinator.
He would be an interesting OC choice because I feel like his offenses have been at their best when you have a quarterback that's truly a dual threat. And I respect what he does from a play calling standpoint. I respect schematically what he does, but it feels like it might not be the coordinator I would want to go with, if that makes sense.
He's a brilliant guy. If you want to just look at how brilliant he is, go look at what Lamar Jackson did when Todd was the OC there, because I think it's the best Lamar ever played the last 3 years. Probably should have won another MVP in that stretch based on his production. So that will be an interesting one to see how that goes. But at this point, they can go. There are only how many jobs do we have open still? Is it just Browns, Cardinals, Raiders,
4?
Bills are the 4 that are open? So the guy still out there who you can't hire would be Clint Kubiak in Seattle. Obviously, anybody on those two staffs, you wouldn't be able to. The only one that I think would be in the mix would be Kubiak.
Yeah.
I think everybody else feels like they've been interviewed. It feels like, from a Raiders perspective, that they would want Kubiak in a big way. Arizona, a lot of stuff I'm hearing around the league is that it's Mike LaFleur could end up in Arizona. He's with the Rams as well. And then Buffalo, I always thought it would be Daboll, but they interviewed Davis Webb, who Josh likes a lot. So that maybe you just go that way and go Davis Webb as the head guy there. That's the best one open because they have the MVP.
Yes, agreed.
I wonder, too, because Joe Brady is the offensive coordinator, was the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, right? Yeah. I wonder, too, if maybe they would just promote him to head coach and have Davis Webb come back and be his OC.
If you do that, though, like, you might as well just, like, I don't know why you'd go through the whole charade.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be some of the talk in Cleveland, too. Like, if they end up with Schwartz, like, they could have done that at any point.
Don't you still kind of have to go through all at least the Rooney stuff?
I don't know. Like, if you promote an interim, do you? Like, if they would have fired Stefanski with 2 games left, could they have promoted him? I don't know that.
I'm not sure either.
Here's the thing with that to me, though. If you, without a shadow of a doubt, have your guy and you don't want anyone else to get him, you hire him and just pay the fine.
That's
right.
Interesting.
Like, if you want that
what
guy,
is the fine on it?
I think somebody said it might depend on the situation and how many people you interviewed, because there's so many steps to the Rooney Rule to fulfill it all. But I think somebody said like $200,000.
Oh, you pay that fine all day.
So, yeah,
the NFL commissioner here's the big one, though. NFL commissioner can dock draft picks.
Okay, well.
So that's where you'd run into some problems on that. So the financial fine that's previously doled out was $200,000. That was in 2003, though, when the Lions hired Steve Mariucci, of all people. And so we haven't had anybody not do it since. I would imagine, like, I was curious about this. Like, do some of these guys who they interview to be compliant, like, do they ask for financial inducement to take the interview? I would if I were them.
Is the opportunity to sit in front of a front office and build those connections more valuable than,
I don't know,
than maybe trying to say, you got to pay me to come in here?
I don't know. I'm very curious how those, because I am too. This is one of those things where the idea behind it is good and the execution is brutal.
Yeah, I mean,
in my opinion, I think that I understand when this rule was put in place all those years ago. I get it, because they had a major problem,
right?
A major problem,
right?
But the execution of it now is very clunky, and I think in times disingenuous.
We've talked about it. I'm big on the idea of the execution needing work, but then I see reports of a guy in Phillip Rivers who gets a head coaching interview, and I'm like, this is the exact reason why you still have to have it regardless of how clunky the rule is. Yeah. Because these people are just going to interview who they want to interview regardless. To get back on track, I saw there was a lot of smoke for Joe Brady and the Raiders, which I think is intriguing, all things considered. Fernando Mendoza probably going to be the draft pick there, like pairing a young, innovative offensive mind with a young quarterback becomes intriguing there. It's just the fact that I think the Raiders are a dysfunctional organization. I'm not exactly sure how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, you drafted Mendoza 1, and you can get Clint Kubiak or Joe Brady or one of those young guys, and then you can grow together. That's probably where you're at. Yeah. That's the sweet spot you're trying to hit there. We'll get you with the real truth coming up next, second hour. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
College is great. You know what else is great? Pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of The Ohio State University. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Now's the time to buy or renew your 2026 dog licenses. Not only are dog licenses required by law, but fees support the Franklin County Dog Shelter and Adoption Center. Buy or renew your dog licenses today at franklincountyauditor.com.
What would it take for my child to only miss half a day of school for treatment?
What would it take to fund a cure for childhood cancer?
It would take all of us to come together to support the research. Join us. Go to childrenscancer.org today.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And of course, you know me. I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Are you starting to get recognized from these ads, Wilson?
Yep. Folks are really liking the idea of home-changing windows and superior performance and 5 different lines to fit any budget.
That kind of sounds like Pella's thing.
Oh, yeah, it is. They recognize me, but then they ask for your business card. So, that's neat.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
The biggest party of the year is here. Zach Brown Band, Love and Fear Tour, presented by Margaritaville at Sea. Friday, August 14th, Nationwide Arena. Zach Brown Band.
We're all in the same boat, fishing in the same hole.
One night, all the hits. Zach Brown Band with special guest, Old Crow Medicine Show. CMA, ACM, and Grammy Award-winning Zach Brown Band. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at ZachBrownBand.com.
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right.
Don't miss Zach Brown Band, Love and Fear, live.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I thought mixing bleach with my floor cleaner would take the stain out.
When my youngest ate the dog's medicine, that was a new one.
I was trying to protect my garden, but I accidentally sprayed myself with pesticide.
So I called 1-800-222-1222, the poison helpline.
A poison expert helped me figure out what to do next.
I was connected to someone who spoke Spanish.
They answered my questions.
It was free.
It was confidential.
It was real help in real time.
Keep the poison experts in your pocket. 1-800-222-1222.
For the past 100 years, Shriners Children's has become family to over 1.5 million kids.
In tough times and good times, they're there when we need them most.
Please go online right now to loveshriners.org.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. Not the weather nor Penn State could stop the Ohio State men's basketball team last night. They beat the Nittany Lions 84-78 at the shot. John Mobley, he is on a tear. He scores 25, leads the way again for the Buckeyes. Tayson Chapman chipped in a career-high 11 off the bench. The Buckeyes were shorthanded last night, playing without Christoph Tilley and Gabe Cupps. The Buckeyes travel to Wisconsin to face the Badgers at 2 on Saturday. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they did not play last night. Their game with the Los Angeles Kings was postponed due to the weather. That game will be made up on March 9th, although no start time has been announced. The Jackets back at home tomorrow night against the Philadelphia Flyers at 7. You can hear it right here on The Fan. Donovan Mitchell scored 45 to lead the Cleveland Cavaliers to a 114-98 win over the Orlando Magic. The Cavs host LeBron and the Lakers tomorrow night at 7.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Tuesday edition of the program. Time to kick it off with that real truth. Hit it, Bake.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years.
All right, let me get my page turned here so I can see our real truth questions.
It's all right,
I forgot
it's
to
cold
do
out.
that.
It's
It
cold
is
out.
cold out. My fingers are
Bake.
slow.
Stay warm, kids.
Rutgers and Maryland are the worst expansion decisions in conference expansion history. Is that the real truth?
Now, Josh was not going to have any recollection of this, but I put this in here just so I could say I was right. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, this is just ego padding. That's all this is.
The listeners know.
This is just me saying I was right. Shortly after the addition of Rutgers and Maryland, we had Rothman and I we were doing Bishop and Rothman at the time, and I had Gene Smith on. And I said, this was all about cable buy, right?
Yes.
That's what this was about.
Yes.
It was about New York City, and it was about D.C., and that's what it was about. And I had Gene Smith on, and I said to him, are you at all concerned about the time, which I thought was rapidly approaching, where cable buy and people having cable would not be something that everybody has, that we are going to head for an on-demand lifestyle? And folks aren't just going to buy cable bundles and not pay attention. They're being charged a nickel for the Big Ten network in New York City per cable buyer. And he said, Bo, I think that's very naive. And that's what he said to me. And I said, and I love Gene, and I respectfully, I wasn't going to push back much more than that. But my argument to this was you should have always taken people who care about football most, that's what it is, and that the Big Ten's money was not going to lift these two programs up. And at the time of the Maryland edition, they were really dang good at basketball, and they had Kevin Plank's money at Under Armour. So the thinking was if they could go, that would maybe be a program of the two that could. Rutgers never made any damn sense ever. And the reason we're talking about this now is Rutgers' athletic department is running a $78 million deficit.
Well,
they've been in this league for well over a decade. and they are the same operation now as they were then. They're the same. Nothing has changed with them at all. Maryland's gotten worse. They're actually healthier in the ACC than they've been in the Big Ten. They maybe are more enriched now. And yes, I think this is the real truth. I think the other thing you have to factor into this, Joshua and Bake, you have to factor in at the time of adding Rutgers and Maryland, the Big Ten could have added anybody they wanted.
Sure.
This isn't the Big 12 scrambling. It's not the ACC trying to make sure they have numbers, adding Stanford and Cal and SMU. That's not what it was. You could have gotten anybody you wanted, and this is who they chose. So, yeah, I think it is the real truth. And honestly, guys, I can't even tell you what the second worst expansion decision is a conference made, honestly.
There's both sides of it. Like, to your point, I think you were able to see where things were going a lot better than administrators who are historically just slow at that kind of stuff. But at the time, it definitely made sense for the way that these deals were structured. And you mentioned it, right? Like, every cable buyer that you have, everything's bundled in there. You get an extra nickel for a Big Ten network and all that kind of stuff. It made a lot of sense. There was probably this idea, too, where Maryland, as you mentioned, with Under Armour money and all the things going on, maybe a sleeping giant. And Rutgers wasn't too far detached from the first Greg Schiano era where they were making New Year's Six bowl games. Could they find a little bit more of that in their history? But as you start to dig into it now, it's really bad. It's an awful decision. And looking at the numbers for Rutgers, because a lot of these athletic departments right now are running deficits. And Ohio State ran a deficit, a couple years ago, whatever the case is. But you look at the revenues, they're spending $100 million less than a school like Ohio State. And their revenues are still so low that they're running a deficit. That's the problem. The problem is nobody gives a damn. They can't monetize anything. No. And even with the TV contract they have, they can never be competitive because there's no money coming into the program outside of that.
No, and this is the real truth on it, guys. I lived this, and this was a time when the big at the time, the Big 12 was crumbling because of the Longhorn Network. And Texas would have came into this league. You certainly could have had Oklahoma. You could have had Kansas. You could have had Missouri. You could have poached the best from that league. And instead, you went east for cable buy. I'll never forget this. The first time you all played over in Washington and played against Maryland, it was a big deal. It was the first Big Ten game at Maryland was you guys playing at Maryland. This was in 2014. And at that time, the Washington Post still had a massive sports section, and that's a big-time city. And I remember going down Saturday morning to get the Washington Post and thinking, wow, this is the mighty Buckeyes playing the first Big Ten game in the district. Like, this is a big deal inside the in College Park right there. And it was on page 6, and it was 3 paragraphs. You have the sports section. Sports section. They didn't care.
No.
They didn't care because they have the Ravens. At the time, they had the Redskins. They had the Orioles. They had the Nationals.
You got Capitals.
It's pro town.
Yes.
They didn't care.
Everything else is out there. It's the same thing with Rutgers. Like, they
don't care.
No, they don't. And if they're going to care about anything at Rutgers, unfortunately, it's a women's basketball program that's kind of carried the flag for that university.
Yeah.
Outside of one era, that's it.
I remember thinking when that happened, well, Maryland basketball will be good from the conference. Maryland basketball hasn't been that great since they came to the Big Ten. I will say this. I think the worst decision in conference expansion history happened twice, and you just mentioned one of them when they brought in Maryland and Rutgers, was the Big Ten passing on Oklahoma and Texas. They should have brought Oklahoma and Texas back then, and then they should have brought them in right before the SEC grabbed them, because they could have had them the year before that too.
Well, what you could have done there, that would have validated Nebraska. Mm-hmm. That would have lifted Nebraska, because now Nebraska could have recruited in Texas again, which they have to be able to do. You see what's happened since they can't. Yeah, that's the one. And I do remember the big issue there was the AAU certification.
Yeah.
You had to be a research university to go into the Big Ten.
Because academics,
one of them, JP, I can't remember which edition. One of them wasn't.
I think Nebraska was the one who wasn't.
Was not?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't manufacture passion. And what you just mentioned about Maryland basketball, Bake, 100% right. We thought so. Go ask folks at Maryland. Go ask somebody like Scott Van Pelt how much they missed the ACC.
Oh, so interestingly
they got neutered. The basketball program got neutered because all of a sudden the passion for Maryland basketball wasn't there. They want to play Carolina and Duke and NC State. They don't want to play Ohio State and Michigan.
I talked to SVP about that exact thing at the national championship game. I was down there on the field with him, and he was talking about, started off on name, image, and likeness in the portal and how that's evolved the sport. But then he got into realignment, and it was one of the things that he mentioned. He was I love the idea of being in the Big Ten because of the resources that are there. It has ruined what we can be as a program because all of the other things that we were built off of are just gone.
Yeah.
And nobody cares anymore. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
The Ohio State men's basketball team has won 3 of their last 4, and John Mobley Jr. has come to life. This Buckeye basketball team will make the NCAA tournament. Is that the real truth?
Yep, they will. I got faith in them. They got some vets. They got a little bit of a cushion. They're probably going to have to beat somebody that they're not supposed to beat, but I do think they'll make it. No, I don't know if that means you're in the play-in game or whatever that is, but I do think when that bracket is released on that Sunday, which is such an awesome Sunday, I think their name will be on that sheet of paper that you print out.
I've had my heart broken too many times. I am going to be cautiously optimistic, but I'm not going to get invested. And back when I was in school, I came in an era where they were making the tournament basically every year, and then things started to fall apart. And this time of year, I would be so damn excited to watch OSU hoops. And then by time we got to when the bracket came out, I would be miserable because I would just watch things fall apart. So I'm not going to be fully negative. I've got some belief here, but I'm going to believe from afar.
So, I mean, this is pretty remarkable. I guess it's been that long. This team hasn't made the tournament since 2022. The program hasn't. The program hasn't reached the Sweet 16 since 2013.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the Deshaun Thomas, Deshaun's junior year, and Aaron was still there. Their junior year. That was the last time that the program made it to the Sweet 16.
I remember all those teams.
12
a lot
years.
Of fun to watch.
13 years.
Been breaking my heart ever since.
And that's just unacceptable. That can't be the case. That's too long. I understand football is king here, but this basketball program should be able to be a team that gets to the Sweet 16 fairly regularly.
Brother, I remember watching when Ohio State football and basketball were playing for national titles at the same time. Like it is unacceptable. It's so hard for me to fully invest knowing what I used to see from this program.
Did you just do that to make me feel old?
Well, maybe.
I was at both of those games.
I was a middle schooler at the time.
I was covering them from the Florida side of things, but I was there. I was still in Florida.
How crazy is it that both those games were against Florida, too?
I know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they got you both. Yeah, this is the longest stretch. I was trying to think. Randy Ayers made the Sweet 16. They made the Elite 8 in 92, obviously lost the Fab 5. Then Ohio State went like 4 or 5 years without making the tournament, but then they made a Final Four with Scooney and Mike Redd in 99. 98, 99.
They actually did. You can't find that on the banners or the record books anywhere.
That's so stupid. I just can't believe somebody didn't just put all that stuff back up. Like, it's enough. It's absolutely enough. All right, we will keep you updated on the NFL coaching carousel, which is ongoing. Didn't get a lot of time to talk about what Mike Vrabel has done in New England with the Patriots. We will get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples? Money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels? That's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
When you've thrown over 4,000 innings like I have, you know joint pain isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. For you, was it climbing ladders or too much heavy lifting? Hey, we're all in the same boat. But surgery, that was never my answer.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens knows there's a better way. That's QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No scalpels, no fake fixes, just real relief.
What I love about QC Kinetics, these are the most respected medical pros in the country that specialize in non-surgical therapies to get you moving again.
Don't mask the pain, fix it. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
I trusted QC Kinetics. You should too.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hey everybody, it's Berm, Jeremy Birmingham from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. Have you been following along? I'm down 30 pounds in just 5 weeks thanks to Awaken 180. The results are real, the results are fast, and the process is simple. Find your results at awaken180weightloss.com.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
Back in the day, if you wanted to listen to The Fan, you turned on the radio, and that was the end of the story. But now, oh baby, stream us live on the Fan app. TuneIn app, iHeart app, we're everywhere. The Fan, Ohio's streaming destination.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It is not warming up today. Highs only in the 20s, but with gusty winds, the feels like will be 5 to 15 below zero, with scattered snow showers, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. For tonight, we will see temperatures yet again. Air temperature below zero, so feels like significantly lower than that. And then as we go into Wednesday, partly sunny, but feels like down to 5 to 15 degrees below zero. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on The Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. We're proudly sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 80 years. AFC Championship game went down on Sunday afternoon. Talked about it a little bit yesterday, but I did want to lean on you a little bit with your Vrabel experience in terms of what makes him so effective at leadership.
I think he just knows how to communicate with guys. I think one of the things that becomes difficult, and as coaches get further into their careers, maybe they get more disconnected. I remember, Cameron Williams, who played for Ohio State football, 55. He's my roommate. He worked in the Patriots organization for a while, and now he's with the Broncos. One of the things he told me that they used to do was they would have like experts come in and talk to the staff about different generations and how those guys communicate and how they want to be coached, all those different things. And I think Vrabes just has that naturally in him. He was a player at the highest level. And I mentioned this yesterday, a guy with uncompromising standards, but I think he knows how to get the ear of the locker room. So people come in, he has instant credibility because of his resume already, but it's compounded by this idea that he just knows how to get through to players. And it's one of the most important things. He listens, but he also knows how to get guys to commit to the things that they need to do to be winners.
What he did last year was one of the smartest things I've seen from somebody in a profession. He could have got right back on the coaching carousel, and he took a beat. And he went to Cleveland, and he sat it out. And I used to see him. I saw him all the time. Like, he would hop in on special teams. He would hop in and play D-tackle on special teams. And he just never nonstop. He just went from one position group to the next, just bouncing around everywhere. But the other thing he learned was true, hey, these guys are all rowing in the same direction. Now, obviously, this year at the end of the year, it didn't work out that way for the Browns. But in terms of these guys all are on the same page in terms of how to build a roster, now it didn't work because the success hasn't been there. But he saw that. And he said, I'm going to be aligned with whoever I'm going into next. And then what he did was, when jobs were open, there was always only one spot for him. And I knew he was going to go to New England because he knew the history there. He knew the ownership there. He's part of the foundation of the winning that's there. And what else he knew was that they had a dude at quarterback.
Right.
And he was never going to be in a situation where he was going to be the head coach of a team that was in some sort of quarterback revolving door. And so now Mike Vrabel is tied to Drake May in the same way that Bill Belichick was tied to Tom Brady. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get 6 Super Bowls, but they're going to have consistent at-bats at this thing because of ownership, because of alignment, because of Mike, and most especially because of Drake May. Well, they're going nowhere.
I'll tell you this, too. Mike Vrabel, before he went up to Cleveland, he went over to Wisconsin with Luke Fickell to be an analyst. And it's one of those things, once again, where you're choosy about your opportunities and you're choosy about how you want to spend your time. You don't just jump right back into things, and you don't just go somewhere for the sake of being there. You go places where you know it's going to enhance your career. And then ultimately, to your point, it felt like when the Patriots job was open, there was one guy who was going to take that job, and there was one guy who could do it the right way. But he understood exactly what he was stepping into, having played in that organization. And then once again, you mention it, you get yourself a young quarterback who's got the potential to be a superstar for years in the NFL. And the table is set. And then from there, you build things out the way that you want to. You got the run game that you like to have. You got, young offensive linemen who can be a star in the league. You look at the defense, and you're able to set that because you know exactly what your philosophy is on that side of the football. You can build a staff around you of guys that you know and that you trust and you know can execute on game day. And that is how competent organizations go from being bad to being great right away.
Here's Mike on how this got done, and it started with belief.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why you have to do this. It's you have to believe things sometimes where you can see them, and you have to believe that what you're doing is the right thing, and if it's not, you have to recognize it and make adjustments and changes to the program and everything else. And we got a great group of guys, and they continue to, again, believe in the things that we did, and they formed and created an identity, and they protect it. And then today was just another example of, as things kind of change and unfold, our ability to adjust. And, Josh and Zach and Jeremy did a great job leading their units, and the players executed when they had to. And I know that there's going to be a lot of questions about this and that and the other thing. And, we did enough in tough conditions. And when we got that field goal, the defense, and talking to them, and I said, if they don't score, then it's going to be hard for them to win the football game, obviously. And
the crazy thing about this version of the New England Patriots, last 2 years they were 4-13. So in 4-13, 4-13, they drafted Drake May, Will Campbell with their top picks in both of those. Guys, they're not even to the point where they're really building this yet.
No.
Like they haven't been active in free agency. They haven't acquired weapons for May. I mean, Diggs has been great, and Mike reached him and all of those things. But in terms of like really building this thing, they haven't even begun that part yet. To me, they're like 2 years ahead of schedule. I mean, I could have saw this in 2028, not 2026.
Yeah, and I mean, I think part of that is what the people have said, too, about the path for them to be able to get through the AFC and to make a Super Bowl, right? Like, it was favorable, no doubt. But as you mentioned, you start to see the young core of guys that's in that building. Drake May, Travion Henderson, you mentioned Will Campbell, you got Christian Gonzalez on the defensive side. Like, they've got young dudes who can make an impact. And now you start to think about when you can add more pieces around that. Yeah, it's going to be dangerous. And once again, alignment from top to bottom, the right coach in the building who knows how to reach the players. Like, it feels like the start of a new Patriots dynasty in the NFL.
I just think of Vrabel's path, too. And Vrabel is obviously, from all the stories you hear, just a genuine dude. Just a really nice, genuine human. But he went to Walsh up in Cleveland for high school, which is a program that has produced football players and been good at football for a long time. Then he comes here to Ohio State and plays on some of the best defenses Ohio State has ever had. He gets into the pros. He plays for New England, for Pittsburgh, and had some time in Kansas City, which are three of the best organizations of my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, you pair that with the dude that he is and already the football knowledge that he has. I mean, I don't know how that can't just lead to winning with him.
Well, there's a lesson there, too. Some of it's dumb luck. Like, you can't help where you're born. You can't help where your parents decide to send you to school. But some of it, and you can't help, like, if you're traded in the NFL, you can't help all of that. But, like, that path is a path of pure excellence. You only are going to know how to be, you don't know how to fail, you know? I mean, you don't. And so I imagine like what happened in Tennessee, which now in retrospect looks like the dumbest damn thing of all time.
Yeah.
That, like, yeah. Wouldn't you have just keep Mike and just that's the culture? That's who the Tennessee Titans are. I mean, how many times with those Titans teams would they win 11 games? They were the 1 seed. Like I want to say is second to last year there.
Think about who was playing quarterback for those teams.
Oh my God, Tannehill and yeah,
Marcus Mariota and like what are we talking about? And apparently the feud over the fact that he complimented the Patriots organization, and that was kind of the beginning of the end there. Like again,
when they put him in the Ring of Honor, it wasn't like it just random presser.
Yes.
He was being complimentary because they were putting him in the Ring of Honor.
That's why some organizations cannot have success. They refuse to be successful because they get in their own damn way.
This is going to be uphill. We'll talk about it leading up to the Super Bowl next week. They're going to have to play better than they've played in a long time to beat that Seattle team, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to start with the young quarterback who was phenomenal throughout the regular season as he started to see some better defenses, completion percentage dips, some fumbles, some interceptions, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff that has to clean up for them. But, yeah, it certainly does feel like it's going to be an uphill battle. Seattle right now is just clicking.
Yeah, they're on another level, certainly. Time for a little Tuesdays with Tiberi. We do it in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Don't start the new year with the same old ride. Right now, score low lease payments on all 2026 models, like $149 a month for a brand new Elantra or $159 for a new Sonata. Hurry in and kick off the new year right. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit $39.95 down plus tax, title, and fees. 2-year lease with 10K miles per year. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Ends 2/2.
Ah, college. A time to broaden the mind, question, learn. A time to challenge the status quo. And eat a ridiculous amount of pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of The Ohio State University and the unofficial bank of pizza. Let's go Bucks! Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our Bath Savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items, subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
All right, and he joins on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Your Huskies in good shape? You're able to get around? How's the mushing going?
This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I remember the blizzard of '78. I was a freshman in college.
Okay.
And I remember it shut the whole place down. It was insane. And this is not as bad, but this is pretty significant. I mean, I got snowdrifts at my house that are at least 20 inches deep. It's crazy. My dog refuses to go out in the yard now.
Do you need me to come over again?
She just doesn't want to get in that deep stuff and just is going potty on my, I'm going to have a mess on my deck or on my paver patio.
Why aren't you shoveling her a path?
Dude, it's 20 inches deep. It's like, what am I going to shovel? What are you going to bring a backhoe in here? Yeah, no, there's no I'll tell you what. I had my driveway looking perfect.
Sure you did.
And then, they didn't really plow the streets, and then the plow guys came, and I had a wall at the end of my driveway.
Yeah, that'll get you.
You know how that goes?
That'll get you.
Yeah.
Well,
so last night I was digging it out.
Joshua, did you see this too? Did you guys see the video of how Canada does it?
No.
How they have, this was going around yesterday. So they have like the trucks that clear the roads, but then they also have like an auger which takes the snow that they're plowing and puts it in the back of a truck, and then they haul the snow out. Like that's snow removal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that's living in the north, brother.
I saw some of your posts. You were very philosophical. Like, how many bourbons did you have when you wrote some of that stuff?
What are you talking about? What posts?
The one that's like scenic or whatever. Like it's what'd you say? It's
I said oddly satisfying.
Yes,
just because I got my walk cleaned.
Yeah, there was nothing. I thought you were talking about the snow. There's nothing satisfying about this.
No, it sucks.
Yes,
totally sucks.
Oh my goodness! Well, how much did you get in Cleveland?
Well, I don't live in Cleveland. We got 20. I put this up on social. I was like 21 inches. Is where we were at. So the kids that were out of school yesterday, they're out of school today.
I know.
And so who knows?
Yeah, the grandkids are out. I'm helping the daughter, and it. But the plows are still out. There's just walls of snow. It's insane. I haven't seen this kind of snow. Well, really, since the blizzard of '78. It's crazy. So, but what are you going to do, man?
Are you able to get to work?
Yeah. There's no way. Shoot, I'll get there. What are you talking about?
Any pizza? Snow pizza?
I made chili. I made a big pot of chili.
I like that.
And I put some meat in it, and I use 3 kinds of meat: veal, pork, and beef.
All right.
I hope you doesn't everybody put meat in chili?
Well, not the vegans.
Yeah, but
veal,
veal, pork, and beef. I'm telling you.
That sounds like your meatball recipe.
Well, yeah, everything is kind of meatballs. If you got sauce, you do it like that. I sometimes make pot roast chili too.
Ooh.
It's pretty good. It's really good. It's very meaty, very thick.
You like a meat.
You can find it at 10tv.com, Cooking with Dom. There you go.
All right. So I got to ask you, because I know you live in one of those setups where everything's taken care of. You got the lawn care, you got all that good stuff. So do they come and do you have to do the drive? And what's your setup there to get the driveway clear?
They did shovel the driveway. They came in. There were like 50 guys out there. What was it? Sunday night did it, and it was perfect, looking great. I kind of went out a little bit and was like making pass and whatever. But Sunday night it was perfect. I come home from work last night, and there's a wall at the end of my driveway from the snow plows. But other than that, they did an amazing job. What happened?
Did I miss something? Are you in assisted living?
yes, I am. Yes, I am. Thank you. Yeah. We have a thing called an HOA, and they take care of it.
I tell you, this is what I want your next career path to be. Whenever you're done, and I hope you stay as long as you want in all of it. I want you to be the president of your HOA.
Oh, Lord.
And I want you,
good Lord.
Joshua knows, I want you to be the president of the HOA, and I want you to live stream all of the HOA meetings. And then I need your pregame thoughts on the HOA meetings and the postgame thoughts on your HOA meetings.
Let me tell you in a word, never. Never. Although
I'll never do it again.
Tony, Coach Bazzuti is my neighbor, Tony Bazzuti.
Yeah.
And maybe he and I will do a joint HOA thing. And by the way, he got his 500th win. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's my neighbor. He's a good sales boy, just down Coach Tony Bazzuti. Yeah. But yeah, we got a great neighborhood. Yeah, they cut the grass, they shovel the snow. Yeah. We got a swimming pool. It's perfect.
Have you ever?
No, it's not. I'm not in assisted living yet. Give me a break.
Have you ever been to one of those HOA meetings before?
One.
Yeah, you got to drop in. A lot of action.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to go anymore. They're fine. They're nice. People are nice. It's
I don't know about that.
I used to get into fights when I lived in a condo. We would beef over there at the HOA meetings. It got a little testy.
Yeah, these aren't condos. We own the land. It's just a HOA that, they're freestanding houses. You got to come see it.
Fee simple. I like that.
I just like the idea that now you're so worried that I perceive that you're assisted living, that you're trying to overcompensate.
Everyone's going, Dom, he's been on Channel 10 going on 45 years. He's old as that son of a gun is now. He's wearing
87.
He's got Depends on.
Chilling
thanks,
at Del Boca Vista.
Thanks for putting that out. Yeah, great. I got that going for me now. Yeah.
I do what I can. Do you have what do you do? What are you into right now? You watching any shows? You and the bride? You want anything you're into?
Not really. She likes all those like Fire Country. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. I've seen the promo, certainly, yeah.
She likes that. I'll tell you what, that's one place I never want to live because they have more catastrophes than I've ever seen. And this one guy saves a day every week. It's amazing. Everything's on fire and blowing up and whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be the worst luck place in the world. I've never seen anything like it. Oh, fire. Well, name of the show is Fire Country. So,
you're going to have a lot of fire.
I don't know. I think he's working in hell because every day there's something on fire.
Did you watched Yellowstone, right?
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you watched Landman?
No, but I heard about it. But I'm having trouble getting over Billy Bob because he's just so weird.
No,
the man wears he wears two hats.
Don't worry about any of that. Like it's right up your alley. If you like a guy just telling you the straight truth all the time, then you're going to love it.
I understand that, but I mean, and I guess he's a good actor because in real life, he's as weird as it comes.
I think my theory on that is I think he's bald.
Bald.
And so I think he wears all those scarves and hats and stuff. That's my theory on Bret Michaels, too.
Really?
That's why he wears the scarves and hats and all that. I have nothing to back this up. I'm just talking recklessly, but that's my theory.
Bret Michaels looks. He's wearing a cowboy hat over a bandana.
Yeah, which you don't do.
This guy's got like I don't know. He's got like a wrap, and then a hat kind of goofy sitting on it. But whatever. I mean, maybe he's trying to cause a trend. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to take off. So
you and I interviewed Bret Michaels at the Health and Fitness Expo. You remember that?
Yeah, remember he came and he did a PSA
really nice guy.
for Maria's. did a PSA for Maria's message, and he made a donation to our foundation.
What a dude!
He was a really good guy. Yeah, we did. He and my son Dominic and I did a PSA with him. So yeah, I was impressed with him. We used to have spring. That was amazing. That show. We saw a lot of things.
That's one way to put it.
Yes, we did. We saw a lot of things.
I think my favorite part of the Health and Fitness Expo when Dami and I had to do it was when a lovely lady asked Dami to sign her chest with his autograph.
Yes, she did.
Well, did you do it? It's a question.
I was uncomfortable with that. I did what I was told to do. That's all. Come on, Joshua. You know.
Yeah, man of the people. Got to make sure the fans are happy.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Hey, stay warm.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm thinking that spring is around the corner. I'm thinking that football season's around the corner for the Buckeyes, and there's a lot to talk about, buddy. They're going to have a new offensive coordinator. They're going to have an NFL feel. This is all going to be like pro football because that's what it's becoming, and the transfer portal is going to become more important than ever. And I think that's one, real quick, this is what I was thinking. I think you're able to attract these NFL coaches because recruiting is not the way it's going to be. You're going to count so much on the portal going in the future, you know?
I do. Yep. And they're making that change in real time, and it's all happening, buddy. Stay safe, stay warm. What's on the menu tonight at the facility there? What are your dinner options?
Whatever Terry wants. I still have chili. I'll be eating some chili, and I got meatloaf I made. I made a great meatloaf. The meatloaf had veal, pork, and beef in it.
I'll see you, buddy.
Goodbye.
You see a trend?
Oh, my gosh.
Everything with the meat is a veal, pork, and beef. Every
good for
single
him.
one.
By the way, Billy Bob, I'm reading, and this is just online speculation, that he's had a hair transplant. So I think the balding was happening, and then he went to got the plugs put in.
Got it put in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. God bless. But Dami would love it. He likes when people just yell at him all the time, so he would love that. We'll hit a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
File your taxes for free with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. Just file on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Valid for those who didn't file with TurboTax last year.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. 84-78, the final. Ohio State defeats Penn State shorthanded. Your guys really stepped up, and some stepped up more than they had all year when you really needed them to.
Yeah, found a way. Just really proud of the way our team handled adversity. We were dealt a tough hand headed into this game. Some guys stepped up. Then we were dealt some adversity in the game. Penn State had a big response. You know, we certainly didn't play at the level we needed to there for a stretch in the second half, but our guys responded, found a way to get it done.
Coach, what all the good things that led to that 18-point lead in the first half?
Well, after, the first 5-7 minutes, we took care of the ball. I thought that was important. We did a good job on the glass. We didn't rebound well enough in the second half. They beat us in the second chance points. But, I thought overall we did a good job controlling the paint. And, guys found a way. We had some unique lineups out there, right? And we had some guys, having to play some new positions, and that put us at a bind offensively at times. But just proud of the way our guys fought. I thought taking care of the ball around was good. I thought our pace was good, and that allowed us to be really efficient in the first half.
All right, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
84-78, the final. Ohio State defeats Penn State.
Coach, I know you take great pride in preparing for games and just watching your reaction to some of your team's defensive schemes. Just talk about some of the good plays your team did defensively based on the scouting.
Yeah, I was really impressed with our connection and toughness defensively in the first half. And listen, we didn't find out that Tilly wasn't going to play until after our shoot-around today. So, we got a really smart group and a tough group that allowed us to make some adjustments in the first half on the fly. And then, after they got it rolling in the second half, made a couple more adjustments. And just really proud of our guys, Ron. They spent a lot of time preparing, and it was important for tonight.
It's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone, like the best-selling Camry. Now through February 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Camry, or lease a new Camry LE for just $289 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing, with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Winters can be brutal here in the Columbus area, and if you're cold in your home with the heat running constantly, it's probably your old, inefficient windows that are the problem. The good news is that Window Nation can help you get through this season because in the last 20 years, they've installed over 3 million energy-efficient windows nationally, and they're trusted by thousands of Columbus homeowners to keep their homes comfy and cozy year-round, while also saving them money on monthly utility bills. And right now, they're more affordable during the Window Nation Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale. It's a great time to replace all the windows in your home. Plus, you could get your windows with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. You'll be surprised by the dramatic difference new windows will make. Your home will be better protected against the weather, feel warm and dry, and you'll love the lower utility bills. The pros at Window Nation will guide you every step of the way. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 sale going on now. The sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com right now. Window Nation, a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, Bake.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Indiana and Ohio State led the way this season with 4 games each in the top 10 most watched college football games of the season. Indiana actually played in the top 2 with their wins over Miami in the national championship game and Alabama in the college football playoff quarterfinals. Miami, Georgia, Oregon, Alabama all played in 2. Ole Miss, Michigan, Texas, and Texas Tech were the other 4 teams in those top 10 most watched matchups. Thing or not a thing?
So 1, 2, 3 are regular season games. No, 2 are regular. So here's 2. Because I'm guessing Alabama-Georgia is the SEC title game.
I would assume yes.
So the only 2 that were regular season games involved the Buckeyes. Texas here, and then Ohio State-Michigan. Those are the 2 games that aren't playoff games. All the rest of these are playoff games. The one thing that jumps out to me about this, guys, is the Rose Bowl time slot.
Yes,
is something as a football-loving society we just gravitate to. We just do. Like that time, that afternoon kick at the Rose Bowl is just something that works for us as a country. It just does. And because the idea that one did like 4 million more than Ohio State Miami in a national in their game that's wild to me. But I think it's just we're ingrained to see the Rose Bowl, and we're ingrained to see it at that time.
I'm with you. That was like one of the first things that jumped out to me is how coveted that spot is and what it does for numbers. I would say if Ohio State Miami played at that time, it probably would have been a similar thing.
I agree.
The other thing that I'm curious about is when the regular season matchups, and part of this is how bad the bottom is of the Big Ten compared to the top. But when does the regular season catch up to what we're seeing in terms of the postseason numbers? Because I'm not going to say nobody, but like the games are not being watched in the Big Ten the way that they are down south. But in the postseason, we see that people want to watch these Big Ten teams.
Or do they just want to watch the postseason?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. Like, the numbers are the numbers.
Like I tell you what's crazy is 18.7 is for Ole Miss, Georgia. That can't get more regional. I mean, there's nobody in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah,
and they did 18.7. Now that's a national quarterfinal game, right? Was that the Sugar Bowl? I can't even remember what that was.
Yeah, I think it was the Sugar.
Yeah. So that one still had the audience there. Yeah, you're right, and I think this goes back to there was a big conversation about how the Big Ten decided with expansion to basically what the Big Ten tried to do is they said, all right, we need 3 million. And so So we got to put have Ohio State lift up Minnesota.
Right.
Have Oregon lift up. So Indiana's leveling up is massive for the Big Ten. Massive. We talked about that last week. So the SEC played all the hits. I mean, Georgia played Texas year one.
Yes.
Alabama played Oklahoma year one and year two. Like, they played the brand hits, and the brands still were powerful. What I'll be interested in is as the SEC is falling off, and they are, can the Big Ten elevate? Will Indiana be a television entity that you can rely upon next year if you're the Big Ten? If they're not undefeated, if they lose once or twice, can they still carry a time slot the way Ohio State and Michigan can? That will be the real test.
It's an interesting thing to me because of what ESPN can do to put games in certain time slots. With this is ACC included in this. This is Big 12 included in this when they have those games, and then what they can do during the week to promote. Because CBS isn't doing it, NBC's not doing it, Fox can't do it the same. They try on FS1, they can't do it the same way that ESPN does, and what they can do with ABC. Like, it's so intriguing. But to your point about 3 million, I think the average viewership in Big Ten games this year was somewhere around 2.7 million. The SEC was 5.2 million. So, like, what are you doing to close that gap?
Yeah.
Can you close it?
Bo, to your point with the Ole Miss Georgia game, that was also New Year's Eve night. So it's probably another one of those things where we're just so ingrained, like the Rose Bowl, to turn it on at that time on New Year's Day. You also expect a game after that. And that's what we do on New Year's Day is watch football. So I'm sure that helped there. Yeah. I wonder, to your guys' point about the regular season catching up to the postseason, with matchups like Ohio State, Texas maybe being in danger moving forward, if it's ever going to happen. Like, if we're going to get those big marquee matchups like we used to anymore.
I hope so. Because I still think that's what makes the sport. Like, when you look at a schedule, and like really Ohio State's this year's schedule was perfect.
Right.
The idea you had Texas early, then you had Penn State that was about halfway, a little more than halfway, and then you had Michigan, and then the playoff. Like, you had 3 kind of massive matchups that you could kind of lean on, and I hope that all of that stuff continues. And I would think as the playoff expands that there would be no reason not to.
Speaking of Texas, their quarterback Arch Manning had foot surgery late last week and will be limited in off-season workouts. The school announced he is expected to return for spring practice, though. School officials called the procedure minor, said it was preventative measure to address a previous injury, and they provided no further details, thing or not a thing.
So I'm going to say this is not a thing because he's going to be back for spring practice and certainly will be ready for next year. You sit next to a guy who played quarterback at Texas every single Saturday night. What did he make of Arch, and what did you make of Arch from what we saw? It felt like Ohio State broke him the first month of the season, but there was incremental improvement there. What did you make of his first year as a starter?
Well, Chris Sims basically was like, I think everybody needs to hold the phone here, press pause a little bit on the hype for Arch. And he was right on that. And I think a lot of people got carried away, and some of it's the name. I think some of it's also the media machine that the Manning family is. But it was an intriguing thing to watch because I think you saw a guy lose his confidence, and I think you saw a play caller instill it back into him by the end of the year. Now, my thing with Arch is I just don't know if he's as good as what he was supposed to be. His throwing motion is a little bit weird. He's a very good athlete. His accuracy at times, there are lapses there. I think the game moved a little bit fast for him, so he's got to slow that down a little bit. And this is a guy who sat on the bench, by the way, and some people said it was by choice. I think based off of what we saw early in the year, maybe it wasn't by choice. But it's not like he doesn't know football or hadn't been around to learn it. So I'm curious what this year looks like. I think he got his confidence back, which is the most important thing. But you know, we got way ahead of ourselves when it came to the Arch Manning hype, and I think a lot of us were let down and disappointed by that.
Well, you could apply that to, and all of them don't have his last name, but think about last year at this time, Klubnik, Aller, Nussmeier, all those guys. We all thought that this was going to be some generational draft, and now none of them are even projected in the first round. So, yeah, we get a lot of this stuff wrong. It happens. Final hour of the program coming up next. We kick it off by blitzing the National Football League. Keep an eye on the NFL coaching carousel as well. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
Did you know that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February? And did you know there's a good chance it's just hormones? Hi, I'm Evan Bass, founder of the Columbus Men's Clinic, and I started this clinic a decade ago to take care of men. If your testosterone is low, then motivation, energy, and drive often follow too. And keeping resolutions can feel like walking through mud, and even more so as we age. ED and low T tend to get worse if untreated. And guys, you're not alone. Your physician-led support team at the Columbus Men's Clinic has your back. For years, we've effectively treated ED and low T comprehensively, and with proven treatments dialed in just for you. With same-day booking, you can meet our passionate medical team, and by this afternoon, you'll leave with a plan that's designed to be sustainable for life. The number one thing we hear guys say is, I forgot how I used to feel. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and crush this new year. Call my team right now and let us treat you to an unforgettable experience. Dial 614-300-7400 or go to columbusmensclinic.com. That's columbusmensclinic.com.
New year, new you, new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus, and the deals are built tough. Drive home the all-new 2026 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% financing for up to 48 months. Need more muscle? The 2026 Toyota Tundra delivers with 2.99% financing for up to 72 months, or take $3,000 in customer cash. Germain Toyota has the truck and the deal you've been waiting for. Shop today at Germain Toyota of Columbus, where selection, value, and trust come standard. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Your child is sick. With those 4 words,
the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Ryan Baker. The Buckeye basketball team got a much-needed win last night, even though they were playing shorthanded. No Christoph Tilley, no Gabe Cupps, no problem for Ohio State. They beat Penn State 84-78. What a game from John Mobley Jr. He has 25 to lead the way for the Buckeyes again. Career high for Tayson Chapman as he chips in 11 off the bench. The Buckeyes travel to face Wisconsin at 2 on Saturday. Despite losing to number 10 Iowa on Sunday, the Ohio State women's basketball team, they moved up 1 spot in the AP poll to number 11. The Columbus Blue Jackets game with the Los Angeles Kings was postponed last night due to the weather. That game will be made up now on March 9th. No start time has been announced. The Jackets at home tomorrow night against the Philadelphia Flyers at 7. You can hear that one right here on The Fan, beginning with the pregame at 6:30.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday edition of the program. Joshua Perry in with me again today. The Great Bake is here. Time to blitz the NFL. Hit it.
Bishop and Friends present NFL Blitz.
I believe I had that. We'll start with you, Mr. Perry. What did you have?
Jackson Smith-Njigba is an elite wide receiver, really a quarterback's best friend, and I think we all had that. It's his ability to run routes. It's the fact that he catches everything. He's built well in his lower body so he can withstand contact, and he's just productive. Like, he just goes out and makes plays, and none of us who watched him here are shocked by it, but it is shocking to see a guy who can consistently just get open and make plays in the NFL like that.
It's a hell of a what if, too, like if he had actually been able to play his last season.
No.
I mean, that's a crazy what if, that one. Bake?
For me, I had that the Seahawks and the Patriots would be playing in the Super Bowl. It just seemed as these playoffs were going along that those were the 2 best teams to me. I know a lot of people believed in Sean McVay and Matt Stafford and that they would overcome Seattle, but it just seemed like that run that Seattle was on, that they started towards the end of the season and through the postseason, they were going to be the team. And I thought the Patriots would win anyway. Then Bo Nix gets hurt. You're facing Jarrett Stidham. It just seemed like too much of a hill to climb for the Broncos.
Yeah, it probably was. It was the Seahawks as well. That you could just, I mentioned this every time I picked against them with the 49ers. And I'm pretty sure I picked them against the Rams. I know that I discussed this. Like, they just kept being favored. And when you see a team like go to San Francisco, be favored, bury them. Play the 49ers again, bury them. And then favored again against the Rams. And outward, there's all this questioning of Darnold, and do they have it? Do they have it? Well, no, they have it. They have it. Like, it kind of came out of nowhere, but they do. They're very, very real. And they're 4.5-point favorites at the Super Bowl. That doesn't seem big enough to me. Honestly, fellas, it doesn't. I did not have that. What did you not have, Joshua?
I did not have the Rams going out there and being sloppy toward the end of the game. It feels like McVay has been one of those coaches for years that's won in the edges. He's done a great job of creating offense and doing that portion of it, but the situations in the game have never really felt like they've gotten away from him the way that they did on Sunday. So that was a shock for me.
I'm going to go in that same similar vein there. I did not have that Mike McDonald would outcoach Sean McVay. And it just seems like Mike McDonald stayed the course, did what he needed to do for Seattle. It seemed like there were a couple things that McVay did, or maybe things that he didn't do, that you were left scratching your head like, is this the Sean McVay we've all come to know?
He had a really rough fourth quarter. Really rough. I did not have Matthew Stafford playing near perfect and the Rams losing. I mean, there's not much more you could do. And they lost. And it's twice that happened. I had those stats yesterday, over 415 yards average the last two times he played Seattle, an average of 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, high 60% completion percentage, and he lost them both. I mean, you rarely see great quarterbacks play great and they lose without turning it over somewhere. But it tells you how difficult it can be. Player who impressed, Bick.
Go JP first.
I'm sorry, JP, sorry.
I'm going to go with Christian Gonzalez for the Patriots.
I like that one.
You know, he made plays. He had a sack. He had an interception. He's not afraid to come up and hit as well. I feel like for this team, especially the way that their offense maybe hasn't played as well in the postseason, having guys who can get you a play on defense is really important. He's been that guy.
For me, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba. I was in awe watching him play wide receiver on Sunday against the Rams. That catch he made, I don't believe is getting enough talk. That's one of the best catches I've ever seen, because not only did he one-hand catch the ball, but he didn't pull it into his body. His hand was fully extended. He caught the ball and just held it like a server bringing your beers at the bar on a tray. I mean, he just presented it for everyone to see. And then there was 3 or 4 times where they showed replays and isolated on his route running.
Yep.
And he absolutely put the defender on skates. I thought they were playing in Denver and in Power Field, the way the defensive back was sliding around. He has got to be, I don't know who maybe is a better receiver than him in the NFL right now. I know Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are great. I can't believe there's a better route runner in the league than him.
All of those things are true. I thought Tom Brady was excellent in showing the subtlety of what Jackson Smith and Jigba was doing in route running, which was making him create so much separation that he did, how his shoulders always looked the same. All of those little details that he's worked on. I cannot believe you didn't go Darnold. You have gone at Darnold, Bake, for years and doubted him. My guy went 25 of 36 for 346 and 3 scores, and you didn't go Darnold.
I mean, Justin Herbert I go after a lot. I know
you
that.
go at Darnold too.
Darnold.
He was your show me state. You don't buy it. You don't believe in him.
That's fair.
It's Darnold. And Jack, we talked about JSN a lot, but I mean Darnold, the idea that in the under 3 minutes to go, they're throwing it on first down. Like, that's how far he's come. It's remarkable that he's gotten there. Player who disappointed, JP.
All right, so I'm going to go Jarrett Stidham, and he was up against it. Totally get that, but you can't turn the football over in a game like that. You're playing at home. You have an elite defense, and this felt like one of those opportunities, even with a backup who hasn't played a lot of snaps, where you weren't going to have to score a ton of points to be able to get your team to victory. And giving the football to the other team is never going to be a winning formula. So from that standpoint, I think he was disappointing.
So I've got 2 here. I'm going to put them in the same category. One is Rip Woolen, the cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks.
The dummy.
And the other one is Jordan Jackson. He's a defensive tackle for the Denver Broncos. Rip Woolen, I think, is obvious. Like, you go by a terrible penalty, you keep a drive alive, and then you get smoked on the next play. Like, if you're going to talk, you can't let that happen on the next play. And Jordan Jackson, I don't know how many people paid attention to this, but there was a play late in the game against the Patriots, and it was the play where Ramondre Stevenson slipped, and then Drake May had to take off and run, and he slips and falls down. Jordan Jackson proceeds to dance and celebrate like he had a sack that won the game. Dude, it was a busted play where 2 guys slipped. You did absolutely nothing. What are we celebrating for?
That's what we do now. You got to get the flicks for the gram. Somebody check his Instagram and see if he posted those.
get any of those. This I'm going to cheat a little bit here, and I'm going to split it around a little bit in terms of disappointed. Disappointed in Sean McVay for not challenging the Cooper Cup. Disappointed in Sean McVay for not going for 2 when he was down 5. I'm going to give him a pass on the 4th down because, I mean, that's most people. And in that moment, I was telling him that too. But then also disappointed that the NFL is a sport right now where a play like the Cooper Cup one isn't automatically reviewed in 5 seconds. Well, if you do an eye in the sky, that's solved. Boom. Done. Fixed. He's short. It's 4th down and 6 inches. Done. We have the technology for it. The cameras are there for it. There's no reason for a coach with one timeout that he has to try to measure. If I don't get this, then I'm going to lose my timeout. Then we're definitely cooked. It shouldn't come down to that. The technology's there to know exactly where that ball is. Yeah. It was short. You should have been able to do that. Eye in the sky. It's a 5-second decision to be made. It's not hard.
I think we're just so used to
that they won't do it.
Everything being reviewed in college, where you know, it seems to us like it would make sense that play you would just take a quick peek at.
I talked to Mike Pereira about this like 3 years ago, and he was like, "We have got to get eye in the sky." Yeah, it is absurd that spotting the football is done the way that it still is, and he's right. It still is a crazy way that they continue to do it. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, JP?
All right, so I'm going to go a little bit off the board here. John Stretch, who was at Ohio State when I played. He's been Vrabel's guy for a little while. He left with Everett Withers to go to JMU and Texas State, but got back up with Vrabel. He is the Patriots VP of football ops and strategy. He is the guy who's basically the game management coach, the coordinator for those things. Interestingly enough, he was that guy for Sean McVay last year. It seemed like he needed a guy like that on the sideline with him this year. The Patriots, besides just being a well-coached team, also win situationally. And I think he deserves a ton of credit for the value that he's brought to that organization in that role.
I'm going to go Mike McDonald here. When the Seahawks hired him, I was like, really? Mike McDonald? I don't know how that's going to work out. Then the Seahawks, they send Geno Smith away. They bring in Darnold. They get rid of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Doesn't matter. They're playing for the Super Bowl. That guy's done a heck of a job.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Vrabes, and you give the kudos there appropriately to McDonald. I'm going to go Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for Seattle. It's pretty crazy. So the Bills, if they wanted to hire him, they can't because they waited too long. This is how stupid the NFL coaching rules are. They can't hire him because they fired McDermott after the divisional round, and so they would have to wait until after the Super Bowl to hire him. Meantime, if you fired your coach in the regular season, you can't hire him because he's still coaching, but you can do the interviews and you can have an under-the-table agreement. I thought what he did in the fourth quarter of that game with Darnold, like the guts to throw it, and to continue to try to get those first downs and ice the game and make Stafford have to go 92 is absolutely brilliant. And their whole season's been brilliant. And he's a big, big part of it. Talk a lot about McDonald and what he does defensively, but that offense has got answers for everything as well. Top 3 teams. Who do you got, Bake? I'm sorry, JP. Who do you got?
So top 3, what are we doing? Just 2 teams.
Well, you got to rank 3 of them.
Okay. All right. So then give me Seattle, give me New England, and then give me the Rams as my top 3.
Same 3. I think that's the appropriate.
I think it's Seahawks, Rams, Patriots in that order. I have a feeling that we saw the Super Bowl.
That's interesting.
I think we saw it. I think those are the 2 best teams.
So what you're saying is you don't love Mike Vrabel after all.
Wow. I love Vrabes, and I love what he's going to do there. Don't you put that. I don't need that on Instagram. I don't need any of that on the fan Instagram page. That ain't it. I don't need that. I don't want that smoke. But no, I think that I think we saw the Super Bowl, and I think it's going to be very, very tough sledding for New England in a matchup against Seattle. Speaking of Seattle and speaking of the NFC Championship game, we'll get into that and kind of what has happened in terms of a changing the guard in the National Football League. Get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Do you want free internet forever? Yeah, we thought so. That's why Spectrum is giving you just that. Free fiber-powered internet forever when you switch and get 4 mobile lines from Spectrum. No internet bills, no taxes, no late fees. just fast fiber-powered internet. Call 833-901-0178 to find out how. But hurry, this deal won't last forever. Once more, 833-901-0178 or visit spectrum.com/freeforever to learn more.
Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Birmingham from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. Have you been following along? I'm down 30 pounds in just 5 weeks thanks to Awaken 180. The results are real, the results are fast, and the process is simple. Find your results at awaken180weightloss.com.
Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our Bath Savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items, subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Save big on everything when you shop at Menards. We're your destination for electrical products. Keep yourself safe and protected with new GFCI outlets from Legrand. They're available in a variety of finishes. Now at Menards, save big on all Legrand outlets and dimmer switches. View our entire selection of Legrand products today on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer and find plenty of great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards. Jake Diebler's Buckeyes hit the road for a Big Ten battle with Wisconsin.
Live fan coverage starts Saturday at 1.
Every game, every season. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Ohio sports destination.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It is not warming up today. Highs only in the 20s, but with gusty winds, the feels like will be 5 to 15 below zero, with scattered snow showers, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. For tonight, we will see temperatures yet again. Air temperature below zero, so feels like significantly lower than that. And then as we go into Wednesday, partly sunny, but feels like down to 5 to 15 degrees below zero. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. The best hair on the air. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Why didn't we see Seattle coming?
Felt like Bake actually did a pretty good roundup of the reasons why. Like, we looked at their offseason and we were kind of like, I don't even know if they know what direction they want to go in right now. It didn't feel like they were building in the ways that a lot of other teams would want to build through the offseason. And meanwhile, it was just a coordinated approach. It was a great plan. They hit with the head coach. They got the quarterback who, and I know you were getting on Bake, but I'm a guy who didn't really trust Darnold. I trust him in the regular season. I'm not sure if he was the guy I would pick to say he can make a run to a Super Bowl, but clearly they found a quarterback who they believed in. They paired him with the right offensive. Like, everything went right for them, but we were just kind of on the outside looking in and saying, well, they got rid of Geno and they did this with the wide receiver room, and just it didn't feel like a typical way that a Super Bowl team would build.
This isn't I mean, they went 14-3.
Yeah.
They beat the Rams in the regular season when the division was on the line and the 1 seed was in play. They went to San Francisco, where if San Francisco wins, San Francisco's got home field throughout, and they bombed them, completely body bagged them. They beat the Rams twice. Their hallmark is the run game, and their hallmark is what they do defensively. I mean, that's what they're built on, right? They didn't really do either one of those things against the Rams in the NFC Championship game, and they beat them again. Like, that's a squad. When you are out of what you are as your character and you still win, that's a remarkable thing.
It really is.
That's coaching. It's alignment. It's all of it. They've done a great job in the draft. They've got young guys that they've drafted. It really is a simple game. It's very difficult to execute, Joshua, but it's a very simple game. You need a quarterback, first and foremost. You need a quarterback you can trust, and you need to hit on your draft picks. There's no big. All of these coaching hires are going to happen in the NFL. There's 10 jobs that are open, 10 of them. When this thing was all said and done. Now, several of them have already been filled. There's, I think, 4 left not filled as we sit here at 11:20 on Tuesday. But in terms of how to build it, you got to hit your picks, because if you don't do that, you're chasing your tail trying to fill needs via free agency and trade, and that's where it gets so tough. And if you just apply that down in Cincinnati, right? I mean, they landed the quarterback, landed it. They landed the offensive player of the year, Triple Crown winner at receiver, but they've missed on their picks. And so they're chasing their tail, trying to fill all of these holes that are on that roster, and you just can't get it done. You have to hit on those picks. And to me, that's the most important part of all of this. I think there's a great many guys a lot of these guys who are coached with, they're coordinators or head coaches. They all have the ability to coach and reach men. A lot of them do. Not all of them. There are some guys who just miss, and they never should have been coaches. I get it. There's some who transcend, who can lift anything, and I think Vrabel's a transcender. Certainly John Harbaugh's been a transcender. Mike Tomlin's been a transcender. Like, there's those guys who just lift things up. Okay, fine. Andy Reid, there's a bunch of them. But I think, by and large, a lot of guys can coach in this league, but do you have the talent to build your rosters out? And so, to me, general manager, draft, and then there's some free agent stuff you can do, but this league is set up. If you hit on your picks, you can be in the mix. And Seattle hit on a lot of picks when you look at their roster.
All right, so let's talk about it. John Schneider is the guy who's been there basically since 2010 as their general manager. So he knows what he likes in terms of his head coach. He knows what he likes in terms of how he wants to build a roster. He had Pete. They always drafted well, right? You move over to the McDonald era, it's still him. He picks the coach, and then they draft well again. You start to go through some of the guys. Nick Eamon-Warry, who's been phenomenal as a rookie, right? Elijah Arroyo's played pretty good snaps for them. You go down to previous draft. A.J. Barner's been a pretty good tight end for these guys. You know, Devin Witherspoon, JSN. You get down to Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, who they roll in there in the run game. Like, these are all young dudes in the league still that are balling. So to your point, you have to hit on the draft picks, but they've done it with a guy who has been there for a very long time and knows how to build success in that organization. I'm not sure that's getting talked about enough. Where you go through the head coaching change, the structure of that organization is still the same as it was when we were looking at them as one of the budding dynasties in the NFL, and I think that really matters.
I agree.
Josh, you mentioned John Schneider. One of maybe the worst things, and he did a lot of bad things, maybe one of the worst things Dan Snyder ever did was let him go in Washington.
Yeah.
Because I believe, was it when they let go of Schottenheimer, they let go of Schneider?
Yeah.
And he's been in Seattle, and he has just knocked this out of the park with what he's done out there.
It's been phenomenal.
I think that's why. So I think we had 10 coaching openings.
We did have 10.
I think we
yes.
had 10.
There's still 4
of the 10 coaching. I mean, I'll just do this in real time while I'm looking at it. 10 coaching openings. How many kept the general manager? Buffalo open, kept the GM. Baltimore was open, kept the GM. Cleveland was open, kept the GM. Pittsburgh was open, kept the GM. Tennessee kept the GM. Tennessee kept the GM.
Did Atlanta get rid of their GM?
Vegas kept the GM. I'm just going AFC first. That's 6. Giants kept the GM. Atlanta got rid of both. So there's your 1. Arizona kept the GM. And who am I missing? I'm missing one job out there that has already been filled, perhaps. Who am I missing? Carolina?
Pittsburgh.
No, I mentioned Pittsburgh
did you?
kept the GM. No, there's one more out there I'm missing somewhere. I can't find it. Either way, you
Miami,
get the point.
and they did not. Their GM was already gone.
Yes. So Miami and Atlanta were the only 2 jobs where they fired coach and general manager both. And I think what you just said about Schneider is part of it. I think part of it is if we have, as from an ownership perspective, football operations is massive. It's coaching, it's scouting, it's front office, it's all of it. It's a massive amount of people. And so I think some people think that it's smaller than it is. It's actually massive. So if you are ownership, and by the way, general managers have ear of ownership. I mean, that's who ownership talks to primarily is general manager. So if you're general manager and you are selling your process and you're selling what you believe in, ownership is likely to believe that because they talk to you all the time. And if you keep that, then you can all of a sudden find a coach to fit into that belief structure. If you fire that general manager, not only are you going to start over from a this is who we are perspective, like what is the Buffalo Bills? Well, if you fire Brandon Beane along with Sean McDermott, then that has to be redefined. If you just fired McDermott, it doesn't. Conversely, if you just fired Beane, it doesn't either because McDermott would have kept the same culture and he is the Buffalo Bills. You fire them both and you're starting over. The other thing that you have to do in that scenario is you now have to hire upwards of 100 people.
Right.
You got to go find all new scouts. Now, not always. Some scouts stay. Some position coaches stay. There's some of that happens in the league. But you're at a complete starting from scratch perspective when you fire coach and GM. And that can seem daunting, I think, for a lot of owners.
No doubt. But, you got to know who you are. And to your point, I think you have to understand whether you need that overhaul or not. And you look at, Philadelphia, for example, they've had the same GM in there for a very long time now. Seattle's right there since 2010. The Rams, who have done a really good job of roster building and making moves, Les Snead's been there for a while, right? So, you look at some of these organizations, and I think they have the right alignment between their ownership group and their general manager. And so now when it's time to make a change when it comes to different personnel within the organization, it's not this giant overhaul. Some of these teams that you mentioned that have retained their GM and they're looking for a coach right now, part of the reason why they got the GM is the guy hasn't been there for all that long. Some of these teams I think are going to be looking, in the next couple of years if they miss on this coach and they're like, we need to press reset. But when you have that one part of it correct, or even the flip side for the longest time with teams like the Steelers or teams like the Ravens, when you have the head coach and then you might need to make the change at general manager, at least you have the two things, the ownership group and the coach that are in lockstep, and it makes it easier to identify what type of GM you need for that system.
Howie Rosen, I don't know how you know this, I'm sure, but I don't just how much he's the general manager in Philly that you were just alluding to. He stayed when they hired Chip. They gave Chip all the power, and Howie got it taken away from him. He got the power taken away. He was still in the front office. He was still all of those things, but Chip had final say over everything, and he weathered the storm, and now look. He weathered it. Yep. That's a rare quality. And by the way, credit Jeffrey Lurie, the owner over there, from saying, it might not be what you want, but I need you staying around.
Yeah.
And now they've been one of the... Yeah, and they've been one of the model operations for the last 25 years. Go ahead, Bick.
But by the way, Bo, the Falcons, we talked about them getting rid of their general manager. They interviewed in the 2024 cycle Vrabel and McDonald, and they went with Raheem Morris. Maybe that's why he doesn't have a job anymore.
Well, could be.
Jeez. Yeah. But that was about, if memory serves, and this goes back, well, I'll tell you what that was about, because I remember what that was about. We'll get to that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Rodeo fans, saddle up for the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, presented by RM43, February 7th at Nationwide Arena. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. The buck starts here at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear,
"This is a type of blood cancer."
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
After putting up with Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
I could be wrong on this, but you mentioned the Falcons in 24 when they interviewed Vrabel and McDonald for the vacant head coaching position, went with Raheem Morris instead. I'm pretty sure that it wasn't Thomas Dimitroff. He was already gone at that point. But there was somebody who was advising, because they ran into the same thing with Dimitroff when he was there, when there was talk about them hiring Belichick. And the thinking was that I don't want somebody more powerful than me in the organization. And that's the other thing with this, with these coaching hires that are really tricky. And I think a lot of these ownership structures want, hey, general manager, coach, work together, both report to me. But by definition, that isn't going to end up being an adversarial relationship. There's no way, even if you are completely aligned, that at some point you're not going to have to choose between one or the other or else fire them both. And that's where I think you get that dysfunction. That's what makes it so hard. Like, Joshua, you played in the league. Mm-hmm. If you owned an NFL team, would you hire the coach first or the GM first?
I feel like I would hire the general manager first, right? Like, I think, to me, the GM, part of their purpose is to deal with all personnel within the organization. So that's players, but that's also the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And then those two guys work together to make decisions, obviously, on what they do with the players, that they need to make adaptations to the staff. And then if that guy ends up hiring the wrong guy a time or two, then I also know that he's part of the problem. The coaches come in, and this is the thing about coaches that gets me every time. When stuff starts going haywire, that's a bad assistant, that's a bad player, on down the line. Yeah. And so it's everybody else's fault until you start to realize, well, you hired the coach and you pounded your fists on the table during the draft to get that player in there. So I kind of like the structure of having the GM be over all of the personnel. So you deal with the coach, and then if you have to deal with too many of them, then I'll deal with you.
There are probably some, and you'd probably acknowledge this, there's probably some who transcend that, some coaches, and that's probably how you end up in the John Harbaugh world, where John Harbaugh wants to coach your team, away you go. You were in San Diego and you were in Indianapolis.
Yep.
What could you What did you learn from those two organizations about how they went about their business? What did you take from it?
It's San Diego was a little bit of a crapshoot because that was the year before they ended up moving to LA. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of what people don't realize is a lot of these owners, their net worth is tied up in the ownership of the team. So they're not very liquid. And the Chargers had a liquidity issue in terms of money. So everything was as cheap as it could be. Our building was run down. We didn't have a cafeteria. We ate in a tent. Like it was coming from Ohio State, it was the opposite of what I thought the NFL should have been. But our general manager, Tom Telesco, was really good. There were some early drafts where he missed on some of the top picks, injury issues, whatever. But like the depth of the drafts were usually pretty good. After he got rid of Mike McCoy, did a solid job of hiring, right? So, like, learned a lot there. In Indy, it felt like more of a professional operation. We were going through, and this is partly ownership as well. Jim Irsay, for as big of a nut job as he was, he loved players. He wanted to take care of his organization. So we had an upgraded locker room that we were building at the time, like, just things that you think professional organizations do. And Chris Ballard, who's now taking some slings and arrows in the media there in Indianapolis. He was the GM that brought me in. And one of the things that I appreciate about him is he understands that when you bring players in, whether that's free agents or whether that's guys to the draft, you actually have to invest in them and try to develop them once you bring them into the building. And I think that's where a lot of guys fall to the wayside. You just don't have time sometimes. If you're a coach, like sometimes you need your roster right now because you're on the hot seat. Sometimes as a GM, you need it to happen this year because there might not be a next year. And I've appreciated the fact that he's a guy who's like, for better or for worse, I see what this player can be. We're going to invest in him. And if it's not this year and head's got to roll, that's on me. If I'm out of here, that's on me. But just understand, I brought this player in because I think not today, but maybe 2-3 years down the line, this guy is going to be an all-pro.
It's interesting. When you talk about organizational structure and what the winning operations do. I mean, that I'll acknowledge that some of it's just dumb luck, right? Like sometimes you just get lucky. But I think of like Pittsburgh and Baltimore specifically, and the idea that neither of those operations really ever bottomed out. Like they haven't in like the last 25 years. Like they've always been in the midst. Pittsburgh obviously always has winning season with Tomlin. They're always in the mix. There's an alignment there, and this is the Steelers way, right? We're going to play defense. We're going to have great guys who can rush the pass. We're going to punch you in the mouth. Typically, they're going to run the football, and then on instances when we get AB and Ben and all of that, then we'll open it wide up and we'll have a good time. But at the same time, the culture kind of remains the same. I think that's one of the hardest things to do in professional sports. I think you can have culture tornadoes in college football that come in. We just saw it with Cignetti. Like one guy can come in and Urban did it. When Urban took. Tress had incredible culture, and then Urban's culture was very, very different. Both work, by the way, at a high level, but very different. One-man culture tornado. I think Urban Meyer could coach damn near anywhere in his prime and could win a national title in relatively short order, as long as you had some of the bare minimum things that are required to compete at that level. In college, you can do that. I think it's very difficult in the NFL to create true alignment and drafting for what we are. And I think you've seen that even in Cincinnati. You see that in Cleveland. It's just hard to land that and consistently do it. If you do it, then that's where the winning comes. That's how the winning comes, because you're drafting to a system, you're drafting to a culture, you're drafting a type. That's where the success comes. It's just hard to navigate it.
Bo, I think it's also hard because you can be really great and you can just run into what's happened in the AFC here for the last 20 or 30 years. Like the last 15 AFC championship games have had either the Kansas City Chiefs or the New England Patriots in them.
Right.
And most of that time it was because of two guys, Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And I look at the, 2000 to 2018 when Mahomes finally broke through, the AFC representative in the Super Bowl was either Manning, Brady, or Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Except for 1 year, and that was Joe Flacco. So it can be where you could, like Josh Allen. Josh Allen might be a great quarterback, but he's just been going up against greatness the whole time.
But I do think
real quick on that, JP,
ahead.
let me just jump in real quick.
Yep.
The one thing I would add to that, though, is in the cases of all the teams you mentioned, they also drafted around them incredibly, because you can have Josh Allen, you can have Joe Burrow, but if you don't have anything else, they're on a damn island.
I'm with you there. And I think those organizations that you mentioned too, part of this is knowing who you are and like picking on the Browns for a sec, but like, who are you historically? Like, who are you as an organization? The Chargers, who I played for, like, they had some great years with Phil Rivers. You can go back with Dan Fouts, and like you could, but like, who are you? Like, if I ask somebody, who are the Pittsburgh Steelers? They could tell you exactly. Who are the Green Bay Packers? You know who they are. Who are the Denver Broncos, New England Patriots? Some of these other organizations, like you ask, who are they? You kind of throw your hands up like, I'm not exactly sure. And I think all that to say, when you know who you are, you know who your people are. And that's how they continue to get the right people in the building.
This is some breaking news here in the last 50 seconds. Diana Rossini, the first to report this. The Buffalo Bills are promoting offensive coordinator Joe Brady. I think one of you mentioned this, Baker. Was it you? You or Joshua? One of you guys mentioned that earlier in the show. Joe Brady will be the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills. A source tells The Athletic Brady, who has received head coaching interest in recent cycles, stays in Buffalo, where he will continue to work with Josh Allen. I'm going to tell you from 30,000 feet, that is a Brandon Beane and most especially a Josh Allen hire.
Yep.
That's a Josh Allen hire right there.
He better hire right.
And I wonder if, as I mentioned earlier, if they will bring Davis Webb along to be the offensive coordinator.
They could do. And I don't know if there's any. I mean, I don't need to do this on a very cold Tuesday in January, but I do wonder about, I don't know, is there any connection with him and Patricia at all? Like, because he's got to get a defensive staff. He needs a defensive staff.
Didn't you say earlier, let's not put that out there on the fans' Instagram?
Don't put that either. I don't want that out there.
You did it this time.
Just talking recklessly.
This is your fault this time.
On a Tuesday.
My hands are clean.
He's going to have to hire an entire defensive staff.
And he's got to get that right, too.
Man.
Yep.
I mean, this guy got made famous for being the pass game coordinator for Joe Burrow the year at LSU.
There's a lot of guys who are eating off of that 1 year.
You did.
I mean, Ed Orgeron's a made man off of. He's a bad coach who's a made man off of 1 year.
So if the Browns want to hire Shieldhouse, that's one less stepping stone in the way.
Theoretically, they could, because Joe Brady wasn't on any of these. I didn't see his name floated around on many of these other coaching searches.
He interviewed with the Raiders. I do know that, but I think that's the only other place I heard his name.
The Raiders were in on that.
And Davis Webb has interviewed with the Raiders, too, here in the past couple of days.
Yeah, I wonder if Brady and Webb ever worked together where Webb could be the OC there. Would that be... Well, what is Webb currently? So the only thing that would... So to go... He's the offensive pass game coordinator and quarterback coach.
Okay.
So he could go to Buffalo as the offensive coordinator, because that would be a promotion. And so I assume Joe Brady's going to call plays. I'm assuming that's why he got the job. So one thing I would look for in Buffalo is that defensive coordinator. My hunch would be somebody with a little bit of juice to him and somebody with a lot of experience.
It's got to be a veteran guy, for sure.
Agreed. Yep. It's going to have to be somebody like that. We'll get you three things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Don't start the new year with the same old ride. Right now, score low lease payments on all 2026 models, like $149 a month for a brand new Elantra or $159 for a new Sonata. Hurry in and kick off the new year right. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit $39.95 down plus tax, title, and fees. 2-year lease for 10K miles per year. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Ends 2-2.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. One of the great annoyances in life, at least for me, is the check engine light, right? You get in your car, you see the check engine light, and you go, I got to take care of that. I don't know what it is. So you let it sit there forever. It bugs you, and eventually a bigger problem happens. Well, every day in your house, your check engine light might be on, but it's not your engine. It's your windows. Because you sit down on your couch, you feel the cold, drafty air coming in through your windows, and you go, I got to do something about these windows. But just like the check engine light, I'm afraid of how much it's going to cost, and I don't know where to go. I can't help you with your check engine light, but I can help you with your windows. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is going on now. Stop wasting money by letting the warm air in your house escape through your cold, drafty windows. You're spending more on your heating bills when you don't have to. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is the perfect time to address this problem. Plus, 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. That could be yours as well. Schedule an estimate today. WindowNation.com.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
Morning Juice is now live on YouTube. Join Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Thidoff weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
Just search 971 The Fan to catch the live experience or watch on demand.
The Fan.
Now's the time to buy or renew your 2026 dog licenses. Not only are dog licenses required by law, but fees support the Franklin County Dog Shelter and Adoption Center. Buy or renew your dog licenses today at franklincountyauditor.com. Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, some breaking news here in the last 5-6 minutes or so. The Buffalo Bills have promoted Joe Brady from offensive coordinator to head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And so with that, we have 7 of the 10 openings filled. The Bills with Joe Brady, the Steelers with Mike McCarthy, the Ravens with Jesse Minter, the Giants with John Harbaugh, the Falcons with Kevin Stefanski, the Dolphins with Jeff Hafley, and the Titans with Robert Saleh. Browns, Cardinals, Raiders, all still open. The Browns can make a hire today if they want. A lot of the reporting suggesting it's coming down to Jim Schwartz, Todd Monken, or Nate Scheelhaus. I would say they would have all the information that they need, and that you could have some sort of information from them in terms of their coach today. I'm not sure what more there would be to think about. They've talked to all the folks. They know the folks. They know Todd and Jim very well, and know Shieldhouse now pretty well, having spent all day with him yesterday. So that one could happen relatively quickly. Arizona and Vegas, I wonder about the Kubiak part of that. Like with the Raiders, it feels like the Raiders want Kubiak pretty bad based on Brady and some of his, maybe just reading into his commentary, but it feels like that's kind of the lean there. But
is
those
that a
are the
desirable spot?
Well, you got the number one pick.
Sure.
So that helps it.
By
so
the way, I don't think the guy who's going number one is he's a high-end game manager who might not be ready to roll right away. But
I agree with you. I think at his best, he's, Kirk Cousins, which was really good in Minnesota. I don't know if that's, I guess it depends on how you define franchise quarterback. But I do think with the private equity money they put in there, with Brady now involved, it's Las Vegas. It's no state tax. It's a historic franchise. It's a place guys want to live. So if you just hit on a couple of those things, I think you can, and to answer your question, the reason it didn't used to be desirable because it was in Oakland and the Davis family owned it, and they were like the Spanos family, right? They weren't liquid. Now they're a lot more liquid. So I do think that you can kind of overcome some of the deficiencies of ownership with smart people. I think it's more desirable than Arizona. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
like I'd rather do that one, but
I don't know. Still feels like it's dysfunctional over there. I think
you're right.
It's very intriguing to me because they have all the opportunity in the world. You mentioned the money that's there, the right draft pick. You got Ashton Genty sitting around. You got young offensive line. Like you can go through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Great tight end. Like they'll still screw it up to me.
It's amazing what Mike Mayock and John Gruden screwed up with those drafts.
Yep.
I mean, there's like 4 drafts in a row that are just a debacle. I mean, go look at those first rounders. I mean, it's a lot of it.
Shout out Damon Arnett.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ruggs in jail, for God's sakes. I mean,
a couple of those guys are in jail.
You're right. Yeah. Bake, what's on the poll?
Today's fan poll at 971thefan.com. Are you in favor of the college football playoff staying at 12 teams for 2026? 85.6% of you say yes. 14.4% say no. I wish it would expand.
Here's would be an interesting poll question. Ideal playoff number 4, 8, 12, 16. Which of those is ideal? Would be an interesting one to have. Time for 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, number 1, as I mentioned off the top of the show, we did family movie night, and we watched the 80s classic adventure romp, Romancing the Stone, with the boys, and they loved it. I talked about it this morning. They loved it. Thought it was great after being dismissive early. And then I started to think to myself about the movies that we would watch when I was a kid on family movie night. And then I started to look at the catalog, and it occurred to me that I pretty much saw every Michael Douglas movie. I did not see Basic Instinct with my mother, but almost every other one. And I started to think to myself, my mom, God rest in peace, I think she had a crush on Michael Douglas. Because I think I saw his whole catalog growing up. I think if he was in a movie, we were watching it. I don't think we missed one growing up. So all these years later, Mom in heaven, I see it. I see it.
That's pretty good. My first thing, and Bake and I had a conversation about this. I had to jump on Cole a little bit earlier. Wipe your damn car off. Brush the snow off of your car. All the cars driving around with it's a hazard. And you're a selfish human if you choose to do that. And by the way, most of the people here in Central Ohio, you had multiple days to clear your car because you weren't supposed to be on the road yesterday in the first place. So please go ahead and do that.
It takes no time.
Man after my heart right there. We preach that a lot on this show.
Mm-hmm.
First thing to me, we've talked a lot about the Buckeye ties in the Super Bowl, but there is another Central Ohio tie. Chris Stoll, he's the long snapper for the Seattle Seahawks. He is the first player ever that has graduated from St. Francis de Sales that will play in the Super Bowl. He played some tight end and D end at DeSales as well.
Wow.
He graduated in 2017, went to Penn State, walked on, then became a scholarship player, and now he's in the league with Seattle. I actually was covering the Catholic high school football teams in town back then. Got to interview Chris as a high schooler. Very cool to see him play in the Super Bowl.
God, that's great. That's such a great story. Number two for me, so Buddy Garrity now has a slunk. So when he screws up now, what I notice is he goes low, like belly to ground, ashamed, and just goes to a corner. Just goes there. Like the 3-year-old golden retriever. This has all happened in the last 30 days. He officially now has a slunk, and I'm for it.
It's what the kids do.
Yeah,
great.
Slunks off.
Second thing for me, NFL draft season, going to be some crazy takes. I want to get back on here so I can give you guys some.
I love that.
Look forward to it. It's been fun, brother.
Can't wait for that. That music means the Jake Diebler Show is up next.
Indeed it is. Rothman and Ice to follow. JP, it's been fun, brother. Really appreciate you. We are back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.